you been? What have you been up to? You've been doing a bit of driving?
Yeah, yeah.
Sick.
I took a break from the podcast stuff because I was losing my mind being stuck in my house. And then as soon as the first couple of drift events opened up here, like literally people's websites were getting taken down by people
Yeah.
trying to sign up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I kind of like weathered off a little bit once there were like more events running, but man, it was good. I think I did like 3 events in a month, which like
Wow.
last year I didn't do 3 events in a year. So it was like it
That's
was
sick.
it was the best. Yeah. So
Mm.
I've been driving a lot, trying to get my, chase game up a little bit, trying to hang with the rest of my boys on the team.
Yeah, man. Yeah, looking good. That circuit you and Jason went to,
Hmm.
that looked rad.
Yeah, it's a cool little track.
Yeah, man.
It's
Is
like,
that far from you, or I've never seen that track before, like on any like US videos or anything like that.
yeah, so it's kind of like this weird, it's, they have like their own drift community right around it, essentially. Like it's in the very bottom of Oregon. And it's like, excuse me, it's like 6 hours or something from where we're at, 6-7 hours
Okay.
towing. But it's it's through like the Shasta Mountains. So there's like,
Oh, sick. Nice.
it's beautiful, but it's it's a little taxing on the tow vehicles if you're me. And they just don't have they have an event every year there called Bash to the Future was the first name, and now they just call it Bash. But
Yeah. Was that the one? What's his name? The Tandem of Died guy used
yeah,
to do. Hey, is that their event? Hey, yeah.
it was like somebody else's, but they promoted it. Yeah, so like Justin and Joe, dude, the first year at Bash, I went. It was a 2-day event. I went like I just put my over fenders on and my kit and like unpainted. I wasn't even on animal style yet. I towed up there. It was like the craziest thing I'd ever done. I'd like never towed more than like, an hour and a half or something. Cause I was like through the mountains. I like got like extra AAA insurance because I thought my truck was going to explode and all this stuff. And we went, and it wasn't that packed because it was the first year. And it was like a real crazy time. Like they rented out it's during the Medford Cruise, which is like a big like classic car thing. And one of the guys just had like a drift. They just ran out the track and had like a drift demo event, pretty much.
Oh, okay. So the cruise thing was part of like they hired out the track and.
Yeah, so it was like they've always had the cruise, but then they're like let's do a drifting thing, Yeah. And so, dude, we partied so hard. Like there were people passed out in the lobby of the hotel with like pizza on their face. Like it was insane. Like no lie, Justin Shreve and Joe like had a bottomless bottomless beer party. Bring your own beer.
Wow. Whoa.
So, like I didn't know what that meant, but we all went and you walk in and it was like one of the hotel rooms, just no one had their pants on, and there was like it was like it's a drift event, so it's like 90% dudes, but there was like some girls, and I was like, wow, you guys are fucking brave. But like it was a time, man. Like the next day was definitely a challenge to like get to the track and like put laps in. I gave some like hippie shit because it's like kind of rural Oregon, but it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like very like American, and then there's like a little like hippie aspect to it. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, but like I gave this like kind of like hippie chick a ride in my car, and I went down the front straight and like initiated, and she was in a bikini, super weird. This is like the only time this has ever happened and will ever happen again. I like initiate, and she like puts her feet on the windshield.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like,
don't do that.
So I just keep driving, and she's like screaming, and my brake booster like explodes fluid because I guess my engine bay is super hot. I was like S13.
I was in S13, yeah.
Yeah, so my turbo cooked my brake booster, and it like shot fluid all over the windshield right after she did that, and I was like, what is happening, man? Like, and I'm all hungover, like trying to drive. It was a pretty wild time. And then like the next year, because there's like a lot of videos and stuff, it was just insanely packed, and everybody got like I don't know, like 20 runs in, and the track's
right.
kind of small, so it was like a little overkill, so we just didn't go back. But
I feel like I've seen like videos from that event, but I've never seen like anyone drive it. Like, I didn't realize there was that big a decent run up down the straight.
yeah,
like where
because
you guys were tipping in and stuff.
at Bash they start at the pit entry, and you start from the pit entry, or you start like the corresponding distance of the pit entry on the track. So like if you
okay.
So like when we were there, we were able to like come around that corner coming onto the straight and like actually get up into third with stock gearing, and it was like you're moving.
Yeah, it looked fast. It looked sick.
It's pretty wide though.
Some tip-ins in there, mate.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Looking good. I got this fly hanging around in my office. Get out of here, man.
It's a little better than the time I drove your car.
Hey, what do you expect though? Like, you can't just get in like a car with controls on the other side and then like make it work perfectly. Like,
true.
That's gonna take practice. Like,
yeah,
I think you did pretty well for like first time like driving a right-hand drive car.
I mean, first of all, let me get this out of the way. I get asked about that trip all the time. They're like, was that like the best time? Like, how was like people who like I like wouldn't even know that like they're like, man, that just looked like so much fun. I was like, it was pretty good. It was a good time. We had a good time. So, you know, shout out to making that happen, man.
It wasn't just me. It was there's a whole group of us, but that was, I feel like that was probably one of the coolest things we've ever done. Like having Naoki come and stuff was ultra cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when there's a language barrier, and like I couldn't talk to him. Yeah. You know, like and none of us could.
You can goof around a little bit, but it's not
you can goof around, but you can't really get into any like conversations with him like you and me had, or you know, I had with Jason or Julian or, you know, Phoebe or Francesca or anyone who came. Like, you can't do that with Naoki and Mickey. Like, and Shane's definitely not going to want to stand there and translate while you try and fanboy over Naoki being there. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to want to do that. So I feel like having you guys out here was like, it was sick, because obviously we've watched you guys like driving and all of that kind of stuff, and it was just cool to like instantly be like on the same page with guys.
We do the same shit. Like,
we do the same thing, but it's in different countries. Yeah.
I mean, all the C's guys, like I didn't even, to be honest, man, like I didn't even know Joel. Like I didn't know what he looked like until like someone posted a picture of him like the last time they went to Japan. I knew their cars. Like, I was like talking to Aaron about it on the last podcast that's gonna come out after this one, before this one, whatever. I had knee surgery and I was on Tumblr, and they're like, dude, the C's cars on Tumblr would like come up like every 10 pictures would be like one of those, or like a video or like a GIF or something. So it was just like, those were like it, you know? And so, and it was like those car, it was, I guess it was like how some, I don't know, I'll just say it, how some people see like animal styles, like, oh, it's like good styling and they can drive well. Like, that's not exactly like, hey, you know? We all get
exactly. Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. We'll see you later. See you Monday. Sorry. Just sorting
cool,
stuff out.
Gotta get paid, right? You know?
No, that's it. Yeah. Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah. So I guess it was like mutual, right? Like I hang out with Julian all the time. Like, I don't really like see him like a, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but like meeting the C's guys, I was like, oh shit, this is cool, you know? So like, it's mutual, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So it was like, it was exciting.
It's cool. It's just cool. Like, you know, there's that thing where you're like, you kind of have to, you know, sort of sit back and just think, man, you guys are from, you know, a 10-hour flight away on the other side of the world, or the other side of the Pacific Ocean. And like, we are all into exactly the same thing. And it's kind of rare when it's like, you find guys who are like, you know, into in that kind of drifting that we're into.
Yeah.
You know, finding dudes that are that sort of entrenched in it, like, and that's the kind of thing they like, and that's that. And there's like just the instant like I guess camaraderie is the word, maybe.
Yeah, man. I mean,
and like, you know, it was just straight away. Like, you guys we're like mates straight away without even like, I've never talked to you previously. I've messaged with like Jason and Julian, you know, pretty randomly before we started talking about the event and stuff like that, you know.
I didn't know who I was gonna meet when we got off the plane. Like, Julian didn't tell me any of that because he doesn't really, you know, give that kind of info.
Just get on the plane, man.
We're just like, all right, we're gonna get like, I didn't know like, you know, where we're going. Like, I was like, oh, we're gonna stay. Oh, okay, cool. Like, we got somewhere to stay. You know, like I'm not gonna ask like the detailed questions because like I'm not gonna get detailed answers. So I'm just like,
yeah, right.
And now whatever happens. Yeah, you gotta kind of be like that when you're traveling with Julian, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
no, it was sick, man. It was, and I think like it has to be the highlight of 2020 because like the rest of 2020 was pretty shit, I'll say.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. This is lucky we got it in. It was lucky we got it in. Because I think initially we were trying to get dates in March. That's what we were looking at. And like that would have completely fucked us. Like pretty bad.
So so you're running events. Are you still getting the same turnout? And like, are people still, have people like lost jobs much in New Zealand, or is it pretty like?
It's not great, but it's not. I mean, New Zealand's I think about 11 or 12% of New Zealand's like GDP is based on tourism, and that's like obviously died completely off. But
so
the good thing is a lot of but I mean, Kiwi, like New Zealanders like to travel as well, so you know, people have holidays and go overseas and do that kind of stuff. They can't do that, so they've been doing it in New Zealand, which is pretty cool. You know, and like,
oh shit, I've never been here before.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of weird when you think about it, but the thing is, it is extremely like expensive to travel within New Zealand. Like, it's cheaper for me to fly to Australia than it is to me to fly down to Queenstown in the South Island.
Whoa.
You know, yeah, it's weird. But it's just how it is, you know. There's just frequency of flights and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But people have been getting out about and like visiting different parts of the country and supporting the local economies and cafes and stuff like that. But people have been losing their jobs 100%. It wasn't. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of the economists were talking about initially. Like, they were talking about unemployment in the 10% range. Yeah. But it hasn't got anywhere near that yet. Like, it might late in the year. You know, I've always said the whole way along to, you know, my business partner and that it's going to be the last quarter of the year where things really rear the ugly head. Mm-hmm. You know, we've got, like, it's called the wage subsidy here. So the government has been paying people if they can't work, if their business has to shut during lockdowns or restrictions or whatever.
So they're still coming to DClub.
Well, yeah. I mean, I haven't been like, well, we haven't done any events. We haven't, you know, we've been doing events. We only do the events like the animal style stuff. That's all we've been doing.
Okay. You know? So like, I was curious about that. Like, you don't do like a ton of, I guess it's closer to, like, it's similar to Super D, where Super D does like big events and then they'll do like a skid pad every once in a while.
Yeah. Look,
but that's just because like, Julian wanted to rent the skid pad, and you know.
Yeah, we don't even do that because I mean we're pretty lucky here, you know, living in Auckland, because Mad Mike lives right next door to the racetrack at Hampton Downs.
Dude, that was the funniest thing. That's like my favorite fact that people are like.
What, that he lived next door?
Anytime anyone brings up Mad Mike, like, I'm like, dude, we could see his house from like, we were literally like where we were pitted. You could like look straight, and his house is like 300 feet away.
Yeah.
Like, people don't really like, dude, that is the funniest shit to me that he would just move to the, like, but it's perfect, right? Like,
oh, it is. It's perfect for him because his workshop and like Mad Mike Motorsport is based at the track. Like, there's,
fucking sweet commute. He probably like rides a
car. Oh man, I'm pretty sure he rolls out of bed at like 12 o'clock most days, and maybe rolls up to the workshop and works on some rotaries or something. Yeah. But like we're lucky. Where I was going was we're lucky because he runs his Drift Force events, and they're like, you know, when we didn't have COVID, they were basically every sort of 4 to 5 weeks. So he was basically doing like one a month.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no need for us to run events when he does that, because the only place we're going to run events at is Hampton Downs.
Yeah.
And he's got kind of ins with the track owner, and they've got deals in place. Like it's not really financially viable for us to
unless you get big ones,
rent the circuit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just not worth it, and it's like stressful, and it's annoying dealing with drifters. Like there is nothing worse. You know, like
hey man,
everyone sucks and everyone's slack. You know, at like confirming or like saying, yeah, I'm coming at that. They'll all say, yeah, I'm going to be there, and then not pay their entry fee, and then the night before they decide to pay their entry fee, or ring up and say, oh, hey, have you got any spots left? Like, dude, come on, just be organized. Sure. Yeah,
I thought about like doing multiple like things like to make money through drifting, and I was like, well, like
there's nothing you can do, man.
And I'm like, nah. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like start a thing where I like stop, you know, do this, like sell it to no. And then I like thought about it. I was like, wait, but then I have to no.
Yeah. Then you've got to
deal with the hey man, where's my, you know, and you're like yeah. Or like, hey, so I want, you know, by the way, never mind, and you're like,
yeah,
got it, cool.
No, like, I don't really know if there's any way to make money off drifting. I just don't think it's a thing. I mean, it's the dumbest, stupidest thing you can do. Like,
well, it's because we're all drug addicts, but like
basically, yeah.
You're dealing with a bunch of junkies. Just like, I need a drift, but like, I should probably pay my rent. Fuck it.
Yeah, but no, we're not. Like, we'll do an event every couple of years. Like, that's sort of, you know, we did the Pink Style event, and then that was 2018, and then Animal Style was this year. So 2021 maybe.
Who would you want to have next?
We've talked about doing trying to do like an All Stars event here.
That'd be cool.
So like, I think I might have even talked to you about it when you were here about it, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, we kind of got ideas of like doing almost like a Pacific Rim kind of all-star event. So drivers from New Zealand, obviously, Japan, you guys in the California, Australia.
That'd be cool.
Rip up Hampton Downs and see what happens. But the thing is, like, we really want, you know, these other events that we've done, we've provided cars for the drivers to drive, and like we can't do that with
20 people.
six or eight guest drivers. You know what I mean?
No way.
The idea would be try and get people to bring their own cars over and make a, you know, and people are always going to feel more comfortable in their own car. You know?
Yeah. For sure.
So I don't really understand the logistics of it all. We just talk about these things and then see if we can make it happen, and whether it happens or not, it's like
who's on board?
That's kind of the gist of what we're thinking about for the next event.
All right, good to know.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
it would be like really sick, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you gotta just like, that would definitely need some preparation time. So like, I think
for sure, yeah.
I think when Julian and Jason and Ryan shipped their cars like to Japan and back, they were on a boat for like 3 months each direction or something. Yeah, so it was like they were gone. Their cars were gone like a while.
Yeah, well, that's it. You got, you know, a couple of months coming and then a couple of months going back at least. You know, like it's a long time to be without your car, and then, you know, that's basically half the year gone. Just your car to go to one event. Like, it's, you know, logistically it's...
I think that's why Julian just bought a car in Japan. He's like, I'm never going to do that again. He's like,
I could imagine.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, it'd be sick to be able to provide everyone cars, but I mean, that would never ever happen. I think.
Yeah, and then someone's just gonna ruin your front bumper, and
Oh man, yeah, far out, brand new front bumpers,
freshly wrapped. Oh, what a terrible person that would be.
Oh man, what an a-hole. Serious. No, she's all good.
Now you have a JZX.
Yeah, I do. Oh, we're 1J brothers now.
I know.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's exciting.
How good's the 1J life though?
It's great.
It is. And you got some more power now as well, right? You got a ECU in there?
Mm-hmm. Got a tune for E85 with I'm running like the stock turbo, but like slightly modified, and the stock wastegate can't handle the pressure, so it just blows open. But Luke's welding me up a stock manifold with an external gate on it.
Yeah, right.
So it'll be I don't know, 18 pounds. I think it made 325 at I don't know what that is. And
I'm just quickly trying to convert it in my head into kilowatts.
Yeah, you guys use battery winds or something.
Yeah, we use electrical measurements.
Yeah, things that actually make sense, not how much a horse Dude, all of our measurements are so fucking anecdotal.
Yeah,
horsepower.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense at all. I was listening to something somewhere recently about the actual 1 horsepower measurement. 1 horse actually produces more than 1 horsepower, to confuse things even more.
Yeah, well, most people
it's 1.7 or 1.8.
The average foot is 2 inches or 3 inches smaller than 1 foot.
Yeah.
I guess it's the average shoe is 1 foot.
Yeah.
But then you should call it a shoe. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, you made a whole bunch of donkey power anyway, didn't you? What ECU did you end up putting in that?
I have a link.
Oh, you got a link. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I got a Fury.
Yeah, yep.
And then they just came out with the new ones right after I did all that.
Oh, could you have used the plug-in one? Because you did a full wiring, didn't you?
I can't because I'm JZX 110. And they don't have a plug-in for it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy I didn't, because I went full crazy and wired every sensor that you could buy. I have coolant pressure. I have
nice. Good.
I went kind of all out and did weird stuff because it's not that hard to add it.
Oh, for sure. And having all that data is extra nerdy, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, because I've got the plugin. I got the plugin for my one, the JZX 100 plugin, and it's ultra easy to do. Literally, if I want sensors, I just get an expansion loom, and then I can run sensors. Because I put fuel pressure and oil pressure sensors in mine, so they all run digital inputs into the ECU. Stuff like that. So it's really cool. I'm pretty excited to get this stupid car going. It's just become another rabbit hole of cars, eh? Once you start pulling stuff apart and you think you've made a decision, and then things change, and then it just becomes a snowball effect. I guess that's just cars. Should probably know better by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens.
So you're going single turbo, right? Well, it came with a single turbo.
It was always, so I'm doing
I hate when people ask me oh, you swapped out the twins, and I'm like, I just did it.
No, it's it was I'm putting a new Garrett G30 on there, a 770. So it'd be interesting to see what it does. I've got some pretty small cams. I've just been trying to mimic what Adam came up with the shop car recipe, with mid-frame kind of size turbo and smallish cams, and going for that response, but sort of still having enough up top for some decent pull. So I think with the 770, G30 770, I've got some 260-degree Calford cams to put in it. Kind of the same, maybe. I don't really know. This is all pretty new territory. I've owned 1Js before, but I've never modified them. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Should be pretty fun.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. So I'll be running on E85 as well, doing like flex fuel, so I can do a pump tune, like a pump fuel tune, and a E85 for like track work.
Yeah. So it's gonna be like a street car / drift car, right?
It's street legal.
Are you guys allowed to do like turbo kits and stuff on the street?
But like
no?
road use?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can do turbo stuff. We can have like the thing could be 1,000 horsepower and still be road legal. We've just got to go through like an engineering certification process, and it's like a real hard out vehicle inspection, and then the car can go on the road.
Well, like bolts are tight on the turbo. You're like,
yep. Yeah. Send it. But no, it is a street car, but it's gonna probably end up being more track car than street car. So,
what do you think about?
I initially got it to like drive around with my son and go cruising and stuff. But like he hates noisy cars, so it's kind of like he went in it once and was crying basically the entire time. So I was like, oh well, track car it is.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I like driving around in my truck more. So
hey, whatever makes them happy, right?
Yeah. It's all about the kids, man. It's basically it.
I don't know about that yet, but I'm sure I'll find out at some point.
Oh yeah, they'll wreck your life. Don't worry.
Fuck.
No, I love him. I'm just kidding. He's awesome.
That's what everybody said. I mean, I don't know. I think that's like the common thing with kids. Everybody's like, they're the best thing ever, but also like,
oh,
just give up everything, and you're like,
you do, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It is what it is. He wasn't exactly expected, but
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta like have a kid that you weren't.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure they come from the stork. That's what I heard.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He got dropped off one morning. Yeah, like a shower of blood and gross stuff.
Just like here. Okay, thanks. Oddly, I feel very happy about this.
Yeah. But no, so yeah, it's a kind of a street car, but not really. So I'm not really fussed. Like I'll probably it's already like I've already taken the air conditioning out and stuff like that, just to make it more easier to work on and service and stuff. I mean, you know where the oil filters are located on those things, so
yeah.
Getting at those with an air conditioning pump in the way is a real nightmare. So I pulled a whole bunch of stuff off just to try and keep everything really easily serviceable and easy to look after. And I'll probably end up putting a cage in it and stuff like that. And
good. Okay.
The older I get, like the more freaked out I get about safety. I don't know why. Like I don't know what it is, but like I'm shit scared of like rolling a car.
Yeah. I watching my friend crash and break his leg recently. That was like,
that was savage. Yeah, man.
I was like, I should probably like up my safety game a little bit.
Yeah. It's scary stuff, man. Like, I mean, obviously we had, when you guys were here, we'd had some relatively new rules about safety at Hampton Downs with.
Yeah, I bought a driving suit.
Hans device and race suits and gloves and shoes and like the whole shebang. You've got to wear it all now.
Yeah.
But like, and a lot of people, they thought it's just, you've got to, it's not worth it, or we're not doing anything super high speed. But it's like, man, it's motorsport. Like, it's completely unpredictable.
Yeah. I mean,
you just don't know what will happen. You could spin out and some guy T-bones you right into your door and you're screwed,
Yeah.
Or you sever a fuel line and the cabin sets on fire.
I saw a couple cars catch on fire like recently where it comes through the firewall and you're like,
scary shit, man. Yeah.
Oh, okay, definitely like plugging all the holes in my firewall like tomorrow,
Yeah.
And you're like,
and that's it, like you don't have gloves on or
exactly. It was like some dude in shorts,
Yeah, full face helmet or whatever. Like that's scary, man. Like I don't know, maybe it's just old age. Like I'm just getting more worried about like being safe because like I mean drifting it's really, really unpredictable. Like no matter what you do, there could be the guy ahead of you could have dropped oil that you can't see.
Yeah, true.
empty off track, and like most of our tracks here, they'll line the edges of the track with tires. You know, especially in Taupo, the track we go to in the middle of the North Island. They insist on lining the edges of the track with tires, you know, to save the grass. You know, but I've been there and watched guys roll cars over.
Oh, dude, the half stacked tires always roll cars.
Yeah, it's terrible
because it catches the bumper and then it and it's just low enough to roll the car over.
Yeah, just pick it up and tip it over, and the wheels dig in and things on its lid. Like, luckily the guy there had a roll cage, you know, and it was the most bogan thing I've ever seen. He gets out of the car and stands on top and fist pumps himself. You know what I mean? I rolled my car, I just wasted all this money. But it's just crazy. In one breath they're saying, oh, you've got to wear all the safety gear, but in the next thing they're lining the side of the track with tires to save their grass.
Yeah.
You know, it's
that's why you gotta wear the safety gear.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, grass is replaceable, but someone's life's not.
I agree.
Replaceable. But I was having this conversation with Adam earlier today, and I can't see anything else but they're making roll cages mandatory for any speed type event on a racetrack here anyway. I think it's inevitable, you know?
Yeah, we're actually seeing that too.
Yeah.
Even not like a competition to drive at Sonoma to tandem, you have to have a full cage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't have I have a half cage with door bars, and I think they're legal, but then I think they changed it again. It's hard to track, but they're definitely pushing safety with drifting, and I think it's important. Obviously better safe than sorry. You know, I've seen a couple people get hurt now. But it is one of those things where it's kind of hard to shell out the money. You're like, man, but that's you're like,
that's the funny thing,
that's another 100 horsepower, man.
Yeah, but I don't know what it costs to get a weld and roll cage done, real basic 6-point with door bars done in the States. But you can go to some shops here and get something done for a couple of $1,000.
Yeah, that's about the same.
Yeah, that's less than the price of a new turbo, a decent Garrett.
True.
That's less than the price of a set of Graham lights or work emotions or something, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point, you know?
You know, when you
get the cage, get the wheels later, kids.
Yeah, mind you, Graham lights are going up really. You would not get a set of Graham lights here for $2,000, that's for sure.
Yeah, the one-piece wheels are going up a lot, you know? That's the hype right now.
They probably won't see this, but there's this group of young dudes here in Auckland.
Yeah.
And they keep buying and selling wheels, and they're asking really crazy prices, but they're selling them. So it's just bumped all the prices of wheels up in general. It's really frustrating. Yeah. They're selling a set of Graham lights for $1,800. You know, $900 a wheel. That's crazy. You could buy them brand new, for $750.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, I've sold wheels to them, so. But I've sold them too cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's oh, this is a crazy deal. You're like, dude.
I've sold wheels to them, but just too cheap. You know, and
yeah. It's it's you guys. Yeah, that's my price is doubled.
Yeah, it's basically.
And they're like, all right, fair enough.
But there's what was it? There was a set of TEs. One of these boys was selling, and it was $5,500 or something crazy. So 18, 9.5s, good sized TEs, right? The TEs everyone wants, plus 12 offset. But man, if anyone knows TEs, those older ones, they're just crack city, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to bend or crack those wheels these days. Those older ones, especially.
Oh yeah, especially they've been on a couple different cars and They've been powder coated and you know.
Yeah, this is it. They're redone and all the cracks welded up and smoothed over. They're just gonna keep getting more and more porous. Yeah, I can't believe it, man. When I saw it, I was like, $5,500. Holy crap, what is happening? But I guess that's just you can just get into that rabbit hole talking about the prices of
Yeah, that's the game. We're getting
90s,
old.
90s cars, like turbo cars these days. Like, it's just nuts. I can't believe it. But I don't know why I'm surprised by it, because when I first got into cars, I was into old school Mazdas, like Mazda rotaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, like, when I was about 15 years old, I had an RX-3, like a four-door RX-3. And, like, I paid $1,500 for it. Like, but literally 5 years later, when I was, 20, these things were like 15 grand.
What year
and
was
now,
it?
1973, RX-3 sedan. Yeah. Had a 13B in it and stuff like that. Like, it was a cool car. It was a rusty shit, but, like, it was still cool. And if I had it now, like, the thing would be worth, like it was pretty crappy, but, like, even like a rolling body of one of those these days is like 10, 15, 20 grand.
That's crazy.
So crazy. This was going to happen with Sylvia's, man.
Oh yeah. It's
already happening.
They like tripled in price in the last like 3 years or so.
Yeah.
Same thing with SRs. SRs over here are so much money.
Yeah.
Because they got like, they became like, I don't know how it was. Okay. So what happened after Super D when like Naoki came in like 2016? Like there was definitely a shift. There was a lot more like younger kids and kids that like were like, Jay-Z the world, or like, and then everybody's like, oh, you can get down with an SR. Like that's like the vinyl of, music, or, you know what I mean? Like, like I want to do it the cool, like, Kansai way or whatever. And like, dude, they just went like, SRs were like tanking in price, and then they like doubled. It was crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So now the people who love them and the people who like brought Naoki here, like now to do an SR, it's like, oh fuck. Like,
yeah. You can't buy them, or they're super expensive, and you feel like you can't justify the expense in your head. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you knew what they used to be worth, and you could get one for like a full engine set for a couple of $1,000 or whatever, and now it's 4,000 or even 5,000.
Yeah.
But then it's still a complete unknown, because these engines are like 25 years old now.
Yeah, they were cheaper, and now they're more expensive, and now they're older, and they've been in more cars. And the likelihood of them coming out of some old lady's like Laurel, or like whatever. I think Laurels come with SRs. I don't know. I'm dumb. They didn't. Didn't they? They like, dude, I don't know. Like the whole the possibility of it not being like, if it's like a DET, like it not being abused is like almost zero at this point.
Almost zero. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then you had like that big like influx of like foreigners going over to Japan for like Ebisu Matsuris and stuff.
Yeah.
10 odd years ago, but up to 10 years ago, and then it used to be really cheap to do that. And
I've been looking. I would love to do that, but it's so expensive now.
It's just not. I just don't think it's worth it.
No, you do like you do like an entire season of drifting. Well, I had some friends that went recently, and they all planned really well. They all shared a car. They went right before COVID. So COVID was like going, it was still like what is this? Is this a bad thing? Like, should we get on the plane or not? They almost didn't get to come back into the country, but they went and they had a Bisu to themselves. There was no one else driving any of the courses at all. It was just, I think it was like 5 of our friends and their like girlfriends and wives and fiancés.
Yeah.
And they all just shared this one car, and they literally ran out of tires. They got like, I don't know how many tires they got, but it was like some asinine amount, and they went through all of them and had like the best time. And I was like, I probably should have went to that.
Yeah. That's it. I think, wow, man, that sounds really bright. Like, I think if you can do it with a group of friends and like share the costs, it's probably worth it. But like, man, if you're trying to do it by yourself these days, like you're in 10K straight away for a car.
Yeah.
It's probably
that's what they're saying. They're like, dude, they were in like 8, and it was okay. They were doing like brakes and stuff when they got there, pretty much. It's like, man. Yeah,
it's a lot of dough, man. And
it was like a JZX 90 or something that had definitely been beaten within an inch of its life already.
Yeah, that's it. It's like it's just a mixed bag, isn't it? When you, even if you like buy a car that's like through power vehicles or like got power vehicles like support or whatever, like, man, that car's been thrashed, man. Like, like there's no other way around it. That car's been fucked.
Yeah,
you know,
they got a good thing going over there, though.
Oh, they do. It's extremely clever, like absolutely, and like, but like I think it's because it's become so like, I mean, obviously with COVID now, like people aren't getting there anyhow, but like, I think even more so, like the pricing's just gone. It's out of the reach of most people.
Yeah,
like that's the price of a whole entire car to buy,
build, and like drive for 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I think the dream of driving in Japan's like, man, I've been into drifting a long time and I've always wanted to go to Japan, but I just it's not on my radar, man. Like I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
If I could, I would. But like it's not something I'd set out and make a plan to do now, you know?
I mean,
it's here in New Zealand and drive here.
Yeah. You just got to bring everybody to you like you're doing.
Yeah, it's such a long way for people to come, eh?
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. Like, what did you guys like really honestly think of the track?
It was cool. It was fast. It didn't look as fast as it looked. I don't know how to explain it. It didn't look that fast until I saw everybody go out and drive it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is fast." Because it was like wide, but it didn't seem like the run-up was that long. But I think coming onto the front straight, you can carry like a lot of speed. It's quick because the front straight is long, but it's not like ridiculous. But because you can start from way back there, like
you can carry that speed around the top corner.
You really have to throw it in, like because it's not that, it's like kind of deceiving a little bit where the track is wide, but the corner itself isn't super long. Like it's not like a big sweeper. You like throw it in and you're like, okay, I need to start going this way, like ASAP. It was fun. Like, the little switchback section too, like that part's pretty easy, and it made me feel like I didn't, wasn't my first time trying to drift.
But, the midsection, it's that though, that can catch people out because that section is kind of long.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you've got to almost like shallow drift that whole section to make it to the next corner.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to try it again at some point. Maybe in a couple of years when we're not, trying not to die from
of pandemics.
Or
I always wonder like what people actually think about it when they see it in like real life. I don't think on videos it really.
You got to be in the car.
Yeah,
it's not a good. It's not a good spectator track.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, even though you can be like right there.
Yeah,
it still doesn't give you that full sense of like.
For example, I watched a bunch of the videos from the Pink Style event that you guys threw, and I was like, all right, like that entry looks cool, and it's like, all right, cool, like it's Naoki being Naoki, like flying in and clipping the grass,
Yeah.
But being in the car, like. It's very different because it's so wide. It doesn't look as fast from the outside.
Yeah.
But I think it's challenging. I mean, if right hand drive or not, like if it wasn't a hard, like I've driven Julian's car on a skid pad and I can link the course, but I don't think I made the first corner once. So.
You gave it a good go.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I had fun.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it is.
I got to come back and tell people that I had drifted in New Zealand, and they're like, "Oh, that's crazy!" Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't tell them that I did 3 laps and blew your bumper up.
It's
had to get towed out of the kitty litter. I was like,
that corner. It seems like it was only just before that event. I think they actually added that little extra bit on the outside of that corner where you went off. But it's got,
but it's like really.
It's got a mean drop off. Yeah. A lot of dudes were like, Joel actually drove my car there. When was it? Was that during Animal Style? It must have been, because he went off there a little bit as well and tore the back half of the exhaust off. Like it just picked up the V-band and just like took the thing like clean off. And like
you don't need that part.
Yeah, well the thing is like it's like I think that track, like I can't even drive that track properly. But like a lot of people will come in fast and instantly their eyes go to the apex of the corner. So they shoot in to the apex, and then you're going too fast to go around that corner because it tightens up.
Yeah, I did that
So much, So it's a real like the best like example is like when Adam's out there driving like by himself and he does his crazy silly backies into the back corner and then powers around the corner. That's like a good way to like show the line how that track kind of needs to be done.
Yeah,
I can't do it. Like I suck at driving that track. But it's fun to try. But like
it's definitely one of those like challenging tracks where you're not gonna get like bored, in 10 runs. You're gonna be like,
no, that's it.
So
yeah, and as well because you're going like pretty fast. Like little things make a big difference. So you have it. It's pretty hard to get really consistent there. And take the same line every single time, or there's so many things that that play into driving that track and getting it like bang on. But yeah, you're right, and like it's a super fun track. It's pretty challenging. When we drive Drift Force, Mike, he runs it in reverse direction, which we weren't allowed to do during Animal Style event. And like it's pretty cool because like reverse direction is pretty fun for like tandem, like because you can get it closer and you're not doing like a 140k top of fourth gear match entry.
Yeah,
with your bros, like you can just sort of roll into the section and like it's really good for like practice. So we're pretty lucky with his events that we can run both ways.
Yeah.
But like it's
I would have liked to try running it in reverse in your car just to get comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like you're jumping into the fire, man. When you like,
I was like, we're here. Like, I was like, I'm not. As long as I don't hit this wall that I'm coming down the street, like we're good. You know what I mean? It's a baptism of fire, man. When you like jump into a car, like my car was not running great that event, but like it still had relatively sticky tires and like a pretty grippy like setup. You have to drive those cars mashed. You've got to be on throttle like as much as possible because the front will just get pushed around by the back if you're not sideways or on the throttle. I definitely felt that.
It's just one of those things, isn't it? But fun track.
So how did like the whole Pink Style event even like come to fruition? Like were you guys just sitting around the shop? You're like, hey, we should have fucking Naoki come drive here. We're like,
hey, that's a great idea.
Let's get him on the phone. He's like,
so
okay.
It was a culmination of a few things, really. Like Joel had lived in Japan for about a year or so a few years ago, so he knew like Streeter, he knew Shane from Stacked and stuff like that, and Keisuke obviously as well had been back and forth with Japan and knew those guys as well. So it was just a bit of a, hey, like you guys keen to come down here? Let's do an event and like bring Naoki down after talking with Shane. And that's basically how it kicked off. Like it was just relationships that were already sort of there through Joel and Kess. I don't know Shane. I haven't spoken to him until he got here or anything like that. So we got it sort of all in place. It was a mission to like organize. But we made it happen, and they came down here and we had a mean time, and it was a cool event. It was a really cool event, and like seeing Naoki drive in like real life is just, it's mind-boggling what he can do in a car. And that really amped everyone up. And we sort of had like, you know, I think Joel had said it before somewhere. Where was it? It might have been like, there was like a magazine article of the cars from Animal Style.
Mm-hmm.
And in his interview, he was talking about how they'd sort of hit a rut when it came to driving and what to do next as far as driving and stuff went. And then after Naoki came, it's like, gave them a whole bunch more of like, like this is where
okay, I need to do that.
Yeah, that's it. And that momentum's just sort of like stuck with all of us and like, you know, carried us, you know, on with driving.
I think him coming to places like California or New Zealand or wherever is super important, because it's really easy to just go like, oh, well, he drives in Mahon like all the time, or like, oh, he drives a lot, blah blah blah. Like, oh, those are just the videos of best of. It's like, no, like
that's him.
That's just the clip they got from the day, you know. Like
you can't. It's impossible to explain to someone who doesn't know who he is what he can do in a car.
Yeah,
like it was proven like so easily on the first day of Pink Style. We got these cars called R31s, which are like Skylines of the Skyline family, and like there was this R31 there. Like I think it's got like stock suspension. It's got an RB30 single cam motor from factory. He got in the car, drove up the track to like go up to the starting point, the run up point, came back down and literally just put the bumper on the wall. And literally he just took like, they've got these little like plastic trims that run around on the bumper, scraped it so lightly that it just kind of peeled that off a little bit. And he just dragged this thing down the wall for like 40 meters because it was wet as well. So, I mean, what's the first thing you do when you get in someone else's car and it's raining with a wet track? You go and like chuck it in at a wall at the top of third and just amaze everyone. Like, it was unbelievable. Yeah. He would never have been in an R31 or understood how those cars feel. Like, I've driven R31s before and they're boats. But like, he just got in it and just, he did Naoki things. Like, and just, it was insane, man. We're all standing there going, this is insane. Like, how do you become that?
I had that moment, cause he came for Super D in like 2016 in October. And then I was going to Japan in November of that year. Yeah. So I drove Super D. I had like, my car was not the best setup at the time. It was like, I actually crashed first lap out because my friend's like, oh yeah, you should try these Nexons on the front. And they were like 215 35 18s and they were rocks. And so I went to initiate and the front just never came back. And I literally like from the like, I don't know how well you know Grange, but there's like a little like staff tower like on the front straight. I initiated there and lost it, and literally the front pushed all the way, and I like hit that wall that everybody crashes into.
Oh, hit the end of the corner there?
Yeah. Beginning of the day, I was like one of the first cars out, and like everybody's at the front like watching. And I like friends like literally from Chicago, which is like I don't know how far the north of New Zealand, and like, but it's like a 3 or 4 hour flight. They were there and they were all standing at the wall and they're like, you okay? So I like fixed everything, but my car, I realized I like crushed my intake and had no power. Anyway, whatever. He drove like amazing and he was like throwing it backwards into like FD cars, and that was cool. And I was really impressed because I was like, wow, okay, this dude's no joke. But I always knew he was good. Like I always knew he was like the man, right? So like, okay, like it was expected. Like I wasn't disappointed. But when I went to Japan, I met up with the Wolfrain dudes. They let me drive one of their cars that they were importing.
Oh, at Mahon.
Yeah.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is my first time. That was my real first time in right-hand drive.
Yeah.
The front tire, like the car in it had been rolled over earlier in the day.
Mint.
So the windshield was shattered and they smashed the roof back up with a jack handle. No seatbelt. The driver door would not close. So coming down the front straight, the door's like doing one of these. no seatbelt. I'm swimming in this helmet, and I'm like coming down the front straight, and I'm like, dude, this is. And the worst part of this whole thing is someone goes, "Oh, animal style," and like so people came to watch me. I was like, "Oh no, like."
Don't look at me.
No.
Look away.
Yeah, like I'm not it. Like I'm not it, chief. I'm not the one. You know, like so I go out and literally this car just pushes like, and I like what I wasn't doing the line right. You know, like I didn't really think that I was gonna get to drive, so I didn't really prepare. I didn't know. I didn't play Mahon a lot on like any like driving sims or whatever. I just saw videos and I like thought it was cool.
Yeah.
That track is fucking terrifying, man.
Yeah,
like I've driven, I don't know, I've probably done like over 100 events. It's not like I'm, you know, new to drifting by any means. That track scared the shit out of me to the point where like, I could barely even try and initiate. Like I mean, at Hampton Downs, I was like, sure, I'll go for it. Because there's like runoff and like, but like
wide open spaces, 25 meters runoff of track.
Exactly. I was like, I mean, worst that's gonna happen, I'm gonna spin out or I'm gonna get stuck in the kitty litter and you know, put my head down when they tow me out. But so I did 3 laps. Again, I like couldn't even do the entry. I drifted the infield, kind of like whatever. I did the entry actually, or the infield. Like I like jumped it and like I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like, you know, I don't want people to be like, wow, this guy can't even fucking drive. So I was like, I'll drift the infield, which isn't cool, you know.
Yeah. It's not the cool part of the track, Palmer.
I'm aware. yeah. I was definitely like, and I came back and I was like, what's up with this car, man? This thing drives shitty. And they're like, oh, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, Naoki's gonna give you a ride. I thought I was going in his car. No, I was going in the one that I got to drive.
Oh, okay.
So we're going down the front straight, and there's like glass hitting me in the eyes, and he literally like puts it like 90 on the wall, and like is like tapping the car in front of him with the back of the car in this car that I just drove that I knew was a fucking piece of shit. Like it was the biggest turd I've ever driven, next to this Corolla I drove one time, and I just. That moment, I'm like laughing to myself out loud. He's probably like, this dude's fucking crazy. And I get out and I was like, I'm selling. I had like a 2-gen like GS.
Oh yeah.
Like Aristo. I don't know. Yeah. Is it a Lexus there or is it an Aristo for you guys?
We got Lexus GS 300s and Aristos. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so you got both.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do. Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, they're all imports, so yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did they might have sold the GS300 new here through Lexus, but the Aristos are JDM like 2JZ turbo.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
The cool one.
Yeah, the cool ones. They're flipping boats, man. They're so big. A sick engine though. Yes. Anyway.
I mean, you get to feel like Jay-Z in the 99 Problems video though when you're driving it.
There's no problems with a Toyota, man. Come on.
Yeah. My glove box locked so is the trunk in the back, I think. Is that what he said? Anyway, whatever. But yeah, that was it. I got home and I put my GS for sale and I was like, I'm going all in. I'm buying another truck. I'm towing to events. Like, fuck this. Like, I suck at drifting. I thought I was like pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm trash. I'm
absolutely.
Absolute trash.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I think, you know, it comes down to like, as well, like if you don't watch other drivers a lot, or like, you know, you go to drift events where trying to sound diplomatic, but like don't want to start like a whole like you don't want to Texas
Lone Star drift Longhorn
like I don't you know, this is I watch, because I've been going to drift events in New Zealand since drifting started here, you know, and it's like,
how'd you find it? How'd you find drifting? Yeah. Were you like?
So I was probably 16 years old, and I was already into cars. Like I was into cars when I was like 13. I'd already owned about 10 cars by the time I was 16. But I found.
So it was like 2010.
Shit, no. What's that? 16. That's 22 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm 38. So yeah, 22 years ago, I had a family member who had a friend who had a really sick GTS4 Skyline R32. And he had like ordered all this stuff from Japan, and like it had like a bolt-on truss turbo kit, and like it was rapid and it was sick. And he had some auction magazines that he lent me. And I was just looking at stuff and I was like, wow, this stuff is amazing. Like, and these are like late 90s, 2000 era.
Yeah.
The best, the coolest cars like you've ever seen. Like Hachirokus with like deep dish XR4s and, SSRs and like S13s with like B-Wave wings and small wheel.
Yeah, dude.
That kind of stuff. And I was like, this is sick. Like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. And then, because I was already into cars before that, like I was saying, like I was into old Mazdas and stuff. And I'd seen some drifting stuff in some Australian magazines, and, they'd been to Japan and seen drifting there and stuff. But it was seeing that auction magazine, and then I started really looking into drifting more. And that, I think I bought pretty much not long after that. I was probably about 16. I got my first AE85. So I had a Corolla A85. Yeah. And here we didn't get them. We did get them with 4AGs. They were A86, obviously, but the A85 was just like a 1500 shitty ass motor, but that's all I could afford. And then I just like chopped the springs in that, and like, you think you're like a drifter. But, I wasn't drifting. But yeah, like anyway, so that's quite a while ago. Yeah, I was 16 when I bought that car. So yeah, it's 22 years ago. And then just drifting started becoming a little bit more popular, and it was like appearing in magazines a bit more. I used to be a real magazine nerd. I used to buy every car magazine you could imagine, like Australian ones.
Is it cool having your events in like?
Oh, it's cool.
In car magazines? Or are you like, this is the shit? Like,
I
aspired for this.
I haven't been such like a magazine nerd lately, because obviously the internet provides all the information you could ever imagine. But like,
fair.
There's not that many magazines anymore. Like there used to be heaps. Like we used to get American, like Super Street and Turbo magazine, and
I used to have my mom drop me off at the bookstore, and I'd just be like, she's like, oh, you gonna get some books? I'm like, no. I'll be in the magazine section.
It's not a library. Get out of here. Yeah. Yeah, I had that heaps. And then like you just steal them after that, right? But anyway. So then drifting started coming out more in those magazines and stuff, and then kind of the internet comes around, and like, you start seeing a few videos. I remember the first drifting video I ever saw was that one of Ueo at Hoku, and it's like he's in his like big like DC massive tongue shoes, and there's like a camera at his feet. You know what I mean? You know the one, like,
yeah.
And then it's like A86 when it's like cream colored and sick, and that was So it's just like a crazy progression since then. Like,
what was the early days in New Zealand like?
Pretty rowdy. There was some drifting at Pukekohe track. That's that real fast track everyone like D1NZ races at, and 200 kilometer entries. No one was doing that back in 2001.
Yeah.
But there was a group of dudes here in Auckland called Nizan Drift and Drag, and there were a bunch of like, I think they were mostly Japanese dudes. And they had like some pretty sick cars, and they kind of kicked off a lot of the drift events stuff here in New Zealand.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I think one of them kind of branched away and started D1NZ, and that was like 2004 or 2005. But there was drifting at Taupo, and back then Taupo was just a the small part of the track called the club circuit, which is the same as the Hamptons one, but it was just called the club circuit, and that's all that was there. The whole big, garage and big area we drive on now wasn't even there. And they had a couple of like private drift events there, and the guys really fucked up the track and the grass, and they were like, no, we're not having drifting here, and all this kind of stuff. And that was probably like 2002, 2003. And then I was like slowly getting more into drifting. I wasn't living in Auckland at that time, and I had a group of friends, and we're all sort of getting into drifting pretty hard out. And I was like, man, we should try and rent Taupo, like, because it was an hour and a half up the road for us from where I was living. I was living in a place called Hawke's Bay.
And Hampton Downs wasn't around.
Oh,
yet,
Hampton
right?
Downs was, yeah. Hampton Downs has only been there maybe not even 10 years, I don't think. Maybe. Something like that anyway. But yeah, this was in the middle of the North Island. So I'm talking about sort of 4 or 5 hours away from Auckland, from where we are now.
All right.
And I was like, oh man, like, let's like make up an email and we'll send them an email. Like, I didn't even have my own email address then. And like, send an email to,
you're like, hey, bro, can I borrow your email address?
Yeah. And I'm like, I sent this email on like this big box, like screen, and like there was like a CPU, like a separate keyboard and all that kind of stuff. And like, I just sent them an email saying like, oh, we're a group of like drifting enthusiasts, and like I made it sound really like we were way older than we were, but like I was like,
so you sold it.
Yeah, I was like maybe 18, 19, maybe 20. And I was like, we would love to hire your track and blah, blah, blah. And they actually let us hire the track. And we paid $700 to rent the track. So we had like 20 guys at like $50 each.
Yeah.
To go drifting.
You guys all showed up. You were like all super young. Yeah. They're like, fuck.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was 100%. And like and that was like the first event I ever organized. And we started doing them more often and having more people come in. And obviously the prices started going up, and Taupo built a brand new big circuit. So we were the first to run a drift event there, which was pretty cool.
That's cool.
And then there was another track which was a little further south from where I was living, in a place called Fielding, the track called Manfield. And then we started doing some events there. And so it was just like grassroots dudes, you know, like guys who were like, you could either do D1NZ or you could come and drive at our events. You know what I mean? So there weren't really a lot of other grassroots events being done.
Yeah. I guess that's just pretty common everywhere.
Yeah,
like
when you're kicking off, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that was going back. And then I had a big break from drifting and wasn't really doing anything. And only really started doing events back here when I was living in Auckland, and they opened, Hampton Downs did the new club circuit.
Yeah.
So we were the first. Yeah, we did the first drift event at the club circuit as well, which is pretty cool.
Is that what got you back into it?
I was always into cars and drifting in between, but like doing like organizing events or whatever, that was, the new circuit was like, man, we've got to get on the circuit. It looks perfect for drifting.
Yeah.
Like, it looks ultra fun. And then I just did one of those fancy emails again and was like, hey, let us rent your track. And like, they let us, we got the first event at Club Circuit as well, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's sweet. So you've been involved for a while.
Oh yeah. I'm an old dog. It's just, I wish I was a way better driver than I was. Like, I feel like I've been into drifting for like 20 years, but I still suck at driving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? But I mean, it's all about practice and timing. You know, like, you've got to have time, and you've got to have money, and you've got to, like, if you're going to do it properly, you may as well do it properly, right? Like, there's nothing worse than me. I couldn't imagine going to an event now to drive with a car that isn't set up how I want it to be set up. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I'd be wasting my time.
Yeah.
Not because I'm such a good driver that I need a car a certain way, just because, like,
you want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I want it to be a certain way to have the fun that I'm expecting to have.
Yeah.
You know. So, like,
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of time involved. Like the time that this last, like, I don't know, 3 months, I've driven probably, like, I think 5 or 6 times, which is crazy, right? Like, and you know, I've been working from home, right? So I'm just going crazy. Like I'm at
Yeah.
home, I'm on the computer, I'm like just you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I can't wait to go to the shop. Like I can't
Mm.
wait to close my computer for the day and not look at a screen and just like that's why I took a break from the podcast. I was like, I don't want to look at
Oh
computers.
man, yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like
Fair enough.
so I started going to the shop like all the time and I was like, wow, okay, I'm actually ready for this next event. And it just kind of I don't know, I used to like I don't have my own trailer because I live where the money is and you know it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
have a trailer there. So I like
Yeah. Yeah.
rented trailers and then I figured out U-Haul like really close to me is actually super easy to rent a trailer and I didn't think that they would rent it to me with like my truck because it's like a Forerunner and I didn't think they would, but they will. So
Oh, okay.
so I'm like, okay,
Like,
cool.
not like
Like,
limits on like what can tow a trailer or something. Like, wouldn't a Forerunner be fine?
yeah, well, like in America, if you don't have like a, you know, turbo diesel, like 7 liter, like 10,000 foot-pound
Yeah,
uh,
right.
truck, they're like, you're going to tow with that, you know? Like,
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, right.
I remember towing with your high ace, like,
Oh, that must have been sketchy because that
that
like
was fine. It was sick. I
yeah.
was like, this is the coolest shit. And oh, yeah, sorry, I stole your key and brought it back to the
Oh,
States.
that's all right. Yeah, yeah. I
I
only
cra-
just
I,
got that back off Joel like 2 weeks ago because one of our guys lost the other key. We actually had another transponder key here. He had my business partner had one done,
yeah,
and then left
luckily.
it at his house. So it was lucky because we could still use the thing. But
Yeah.
he lost that one, so we had like the van was like stranded. I was like, man, I'm pretty sure Palmer sent that back to Joel, and it was Joel had it. So it was only a couple of
I
weeks
remember
ago.
going through airport security and like I didn't take it out of my pocket to go through security. And
Oh,
then
really?
they asked, yeah, because it was hidden in you know that like little pocket in your jeans.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
in
yeah,
there,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
like I went through security, and they're like, "Hey, what's that?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" And they're like, "What is that?" I was like, "It's the key to my friend's truck," and they're like,
Yeah, yeah, right.
"Oh, that sucks." And I was like, "Can I go back and give it to him?" They're like, "Nope."
No way.
All right.
Nah, it was all good. We made it work. Yeah, that's not I guess it's not a bad van to tow with. Like, it's just got a lot of like K's on it or miles on it, so it's like
I don't
don't
know. I
worry.
liked it. I thought
Yeah,
like we don't have
and
those. We don't
they're
have
really
those.
handy. It
We
must
don't
have
have.
been really like not spacious for you. Your knees must have been up like on the
Oh
steering
yeah,
wheel.
dude. I was driving with my knees.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Like
like,
I'm not tall at all, and like you're probably like at like probably like 6 inches taller than I am,
I mean, like
and
most
like
people.
I couldn't I struggle to fit in that stupid thing like without having my knees on the dashboard. I'm like they're designed for small Japanese men, 100%.
For sure, yeah. Japanese tradesmen. Like, there's like a lot of ashtrays. Like,
Yeah, cup holders.
yeah, they like.
Little false coffee,
They. Everybody asked me when I got back. They're like, "Oh, I was in New Zealand. What'd you do?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, like I got to tow
right.
like a car with a high ace." And they're
Whose
like,
trailer was on the car?
"I don't
Like,
know. I
whose
think it
car
was the
was?
shop car. It was the shop
Oh,
car."
okay.
Yeah, so
Might
Julian
have
and
been
I were
that
like
black
in that. We were
trailer.
like cracking up because it was like,
Yeah.
like, dude, this is nuts. Like, I didn't get my international driving permit or anything. Like,
Oh,
I didn't have no paperwork, dude. I was riding so dirty in that
oh, and it
thing.
was fully loaded up with tires too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was like full stacked with like 20 tires in the back.
I'm the perfect one to drive that because I drive the most underpowered tow vehicle out of like everyone
Oh,
I know.
okay.
So I was like, I know how to finesse
How
it,
to,
you know?
how to finesse it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not a bad engine to tow with. Like they're not super
No.
slow.
Yeah, it's a turbo
It's still
diesel.
a turbo diesel. It's like it's a 3 liter turbo diesel. Like they're pretty grunty for what they are. But like
Yeah.
the Hiace got like a detuned version of the Hilux engine. So we
Mm.
have a Hilux here, which is like I guess maybe it's like a pickup truck, like a mid-size, maybe like a
It's like our
Tacoma,
Tacoma, but
sort
cooler.
of. Yeah, yeah.
It's way cooler.
The Hilux or the
Yeah,
Tacoma.
the Hilux.
I think Tacomas are cool. So
Yeah, I mean that's because you don't have them.
yeah, exactly. But like it's slightly detuned, so like towing with a high lux is like way nicer because it's got like another 30 odd kilowatts or 27 kilowatts or something, or
Yeah.
45 horsepower or something like that.
How many of those do you need to go 88 miles an hour and go back to the future?
I don't know. It depends on your flux capacitor and how many banana skins you put in it, I think.
No, it was fine.
Hey,
I'm used to. Okay, maybe I should rephrase that. I'm used to driving the shortest wheelbase tow vehicle with like
okay.
the least amount of braking power, so it was fine.
Yeah, right.
It was cool.
Yeah, that was good.
I was like, I'm towing a C's car to the track. Like I'm helping out the friends. You know,
it's funny how none of us really thought about how many cars we had and how many cars we had to get to the track and actually having people drive them out there.
Dude, that was like one of the coolest parts of the trip was just going back and forth to the track and like who you're gonna get seated with that time because it was. Yeah. I mean, I think you said it. You're like, yeah, man. Like, I was just cruising with like Jason and somebody else. Like I think Adam or somebody. It was like in the car. It was just like this like random like group of people, but we're just chilling, talking about drifting or even whatever.
That was coming back on the Friday night after we'd done their setup at the track, and we're driving back with like a Jason and Nigel Petrie in the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is nuts, man. Like, like these are like Jason obviously like followed his stuff for a long time, but Nigel, I've been following Nigel since like the early 2000s. You know what I mean, with his stuff and
was that the first time you met him?
That's the first time I met him. Yeah.
So like, okay, this is gonna sound ignorant, but like we assume since you guys are kind of close that there's like a lot of.
Oh, there's not a lot of that. Yeah. No. He's
from Australia.
Australia's different from New Zealand.
Yeah.
They're different places. Yeah. But no, that's the first time I met him. But like, he's like a legend, man. Like, and he's he's an ultra cool dude.
Cool. Yeah. Getting to judge. Thank you for letting me judge. Getting to judge with like him and Mez. That was like the highlight of my trip, man. Dude, I had Mez on the mic.
Yeah. You couldn't you couldn't have a better commentator than like him, and like just basically just him by himself. Like it's perfect because the singers are just nonstop. I don't know how his brain thinks so far.
Yeah, I don't either, man. He's crazy.
Yeah,
he's too good.
Yeah, he is too good.
But yeah, it was cool. Like Casey was there. Casey was just hanging out. He came. Okay, he posted like, "Should I go?" to New Zealand on Instagram with like a yes or no, and he's like, whatever wins, I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And it was like 99 or like I don't know how many it was, but it was a lot. It was a lot. Yes, and he was like, or no, it wasn't. It was he didn't ask people. It was like a chance. He like flipped a coin on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Right.
But then like the next thing, he's like there.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, Casey's here. Oh, okay. He just rocks up.
It was like
it was so sick.
It was kind of unexpected because like I went and I was like, I don't know, we're gonna hang out with the C's guys, sick. And then it was like, oh, Nigel's coming and like all these other people. I was like, whoa.
We didn't expect that at all. Like that was like it was so sick. Like if we'd known like Nigel and Casey were gonna come, we would have like probably done more to like accommodate them or like try and find another car for everyone to use. Like
I mean, Casey got some seat time for sure. And so did Mez.
He did too, didn't he? Whose car was he driving? Did he drive Kess's car,
right? Maybe. I think people were like, "Hey, man, you should drive my car."
Yeah.
There's a bit of that.
He's driving good, man. Did you watch any of this stuff at Kansai?
Stars, man. I was so hyped.
He's living the dream, eh? Sorry, I'm just catching the fly. Cool. He's living the dream over there, right? Like,
yeah. Well, have you seen his like Kick It pad that used to be like Naoki's like shop, and he just like turned it into this like super bachelor pad. Like it's like literally everybody always goes over there. Like Fujio will go by because like follow Fujio and like some of the other dudes from like Nara, and like they'll always show up and like they'll always like take a picture of the inside of his place because it's just like decked out. Like it's like
I wonder if he's got running water there yet because
he got I think he was talking to like Keisuke about his like water rain catcher thing because like
okay, it's got like a catchment thing.
I don't know anything about that, dude. I live in like a city center. I don't know anything about.
You don't know anything about living in the sticks
because we stayed at Joel and Adam's parents' house. Like I didn't know that their shop is at their parents' like or it's like next to their parents' place.
Yeah.
So like we stayed there and there was like this sign like, hey, don't like put any weird chemicals in the sink or like toilet because like you're gonna kill the bugs that live in our septic tank. And I was like,
yeah.
What? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, they got a pretty sweet spot out there, eh? But yeah,
dude, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's like small, subtle, low key, like, but it's like a nice spot. We really enjoyed that.
Still close to the city, and like it's not like so far away that it's like a mission to get there. Like it's 20 minutes. It's literally like probably 15 minutes from where I am right now. Like my workshop's pretty close to where
have the Seas guys been like in drifting since like the beginning, or like did they show? I don't know. Were they
like in New Zealand?
Yeah, were they? Like did it start with Adam and then Joel and?
No, I think they're both kind of in it together. I think the first time I ever saw like anything to do with them was Joel's one via when it had an RB20 and was drifting. It was all like
I didn't know it had an RB20 at one point.
Yeah, no, it was RB20 for I think it was a RB20 for a long time.
Okay.
RB20 turbo, yeah. Because we had like a forum here, like obviously forums used to be pretty big, and it was called NZ Sylvia NZ or something, and there was a forum, and Joel was on there, and like he was, and that's the first time I ever really saw that. That would have been sort of like 2005, 2006, I guess. So I think C's Garage has been around since like 2007 or something like that.
Okay.
So they've been around a long time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It was interesting to see. I think everybody's so like we went to Japan and then we saw like the Mahon cars,
Yeah.
We're like, all right, okay, like you could drive like the biggest pile of dicks ever and just like be an absolute savage in it. And then we came and we're like, oh, these cars are really nice, like, but they still get down, like they can throw down.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It was like okay, Adam is definitely like the most meticulous dude I've ever met in drifting.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
It is. It's like it's good to like be around that. Like before, like I'd do a lot of my own car work, and like I'd just do the bare minimum to make it work. But like
same,
because like Adam's like he's a mate, and like he does work. He's doing some work for the JZX and stuff like that. I'm doing most of it this time. The 180, him and Graham did a lot of the work for the 180.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mark II, I'm trying to do a lot of it myself. But I'm working in my garage like by myself, and I'm like, start doing something. I'm like, I can't do it that way because Adam's going to rip me a new up.
You have to have that though.
It is. That's why I'm saying like it's super good to have him being so meticulous and like about stuff and how things should be, because at the end of it pays off, man. Like, because if you do something shitty, that's gonna fail. Like drift cars it's a rough environment, and if you do things properly the first time, you use quality stuff, you're gonna have so much more fun because you're not fixing your shit all the time at the track. You
find a pretty good way of like dancing that line though. After a while, you're like, all right, that part probably won't fail. It's fine.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean that's sort of, but that's what happens with drift cars, isn't it? Like you'll build it, or you'll refresh it, and it'll be spectacular looking, and everything will be shiny and clean, and
you'll have some fucking asshole from California come take your track and run your bumper over.
Arrow will be in like full one piece, but like that's what you do though, right? Like you build it so it looks sick, you take some photos and you go, man, that's a cool car and blah blah blah, but then you go and drive it, and you destroy it, and that should be what everyone does.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just should be. Don't worry about your car looking cool for every single event. Like my car looks cool for half an event, and then not just from you like running.
I'm only laughing because that's literally how my car goes.
Even when I first painted it blue, like I ran over and destroyed the bumper the first event. Like it's just what happens.
I just did a refresh and
you pick the pieces up, you put it back together, you zip tie it, you put it on. It looks like trash. But you just go and rip, man. Like you just drive. You do a refresh every like year or 18 months or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It keeps it interesting, right?
Did you watch that video? Did you watch the whole video that Lone Star?
I
Jimmy
did.
thing?
Yeah, I did.
That made my brain hurt, man. It really did.
Yeah. I don't want to. So I actually talked to Jimmy. I don't want to like
did
go.
You?
Yeah, I don't like because he's like a I don't know.
Oh, I've spoken to Jimmy online as well. Like he seems like a legit good dude. I'm not.
He's a good guy for sure.
I've got no issues with Jimmy whatsoever. I felt sorry for him.
He's like from Houston and like having subs, like having like bass in your car is like the most Houston shit you could possibly have. You know what I mean? So like Jason was having some issues at Final Bout, and I was like, I think we need like X amount of like power cable. And Jimmy's like, I'll give you the power cable like off my subs. And I was like, did a man from Houston just offer us his sub like power wire? like he's like, I'm not gonna have any beat for this event. And I'm just like,
he's got subs in his drift car.
Yeah, and his car is really cool.
Wow.
Okay. So to put some perspective on it, like his group and his friends from Houston, they all love like cruising. It's like it's just like it's kind of like a Houston culture thing. Like that's where like slabs are from. All those the I don't know, like the boxy like American cars with like candy paint, and they'll do like the trunks that like say stuff in neon.
Oh yeah.
That's all from Houston. So like Houston's like huge into like really
really
the
like H-Town till I drown or whatever.
Yeah, so that's Zach Triggs. He's from Houston also. So he's like he's part of that group, right? Like so they street drift and stuff. Quite like that Zach dude street drifts a lot actually. He's got some cool clips, but he actually bought some of my wheels from me that I regret selling at this point. But whatever. You live and you let go.
Oh, of course.
Material possessions are nothing.
Oh, there's always more secondhand wheels. They're just way more expensive. So
I'm like, I'm not selling any more of these. Like they just keep going up. But anyway, so like they are like into having cool cars that they take drifting. You know what I mean? Like, but I did talk to Jimmy. I don't really want to like say what he said about how he went into that or like what his like thought process was, because he did go into that like with kind of like knowing how it was going to go kind of thing. So he just kind of like went with the flow a bit. It seems.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
a chance to talk.
I'll talk about the other dude though. Man.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like it's these. I can kind of understand what Aaron was trying to do, like, but I don't think he realizes like the way he maybe comes across a little bit just fuels the fire of a lot of people who take that sort of fractions of the drifting community. It just fuels that flame for them of like, podcasts suck, or driving seat time's better than looks and stuff like that.
I mean, the more you point it out, the more it becomes a thing, right? Like
exactly. Like
there's a bunch of kids out there that like don't think that exists.
Oh, exactly.
They don't need to know it exists.
This is the annoying thing. Like he's been around drifting a long, long time. Like I remember back on like the Ziptide forums, not that I was ever cool enough to get accepted onto that forum, but like I used to hang around and like look at the bits I could look at. I remember him being on there and like this is way back in the early 2000s. Like when
there's people on there that like I know people who had accounts,
Yeah.
Congrats to them. I was too young.
Were you a fringe guy as well, were you?
Oh, they like that. Ziptide was like, we're not letting any of these young guns in here. Like, I'm of the generation that was like post Ziptide.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I always felt like ratchet that I never got accepted.
I was never cool on forums, like ever.
Yeah.
Because
I like remember him then. Like he is like, as an event organizer and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's just not worth talking and giving time to that conversation, because it's like trying to convince like a Ford guy that a Chevy is better, or a guy who's into Formula One, that V8 supercars is better. You know, it's just cars, man. Like you just do what you want to do. Like,
yeah.
I get, because I you know, obviously we like get it all the time with our cars being hyped. Like my Mark II is probably the first thing I did when I got it was raise it.
Was it on coils?
Yeah, it's on coilovers, but like it's probably near the stock height. But like me 10 years ago, like the thing would have been wound down so it doesn't turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just progression.
Well, I remember the C's cars. So like they were really kind of like the first ones to like go up. Like they were really like the first. I remember seeing the cars, and this is like, I don't know, it was like 6 years ago or maybe more. Like the cars were like, they were like starting to come up a bit, you know? And it's like, and then I saw them recently and they're like, you know, Mahon curb jumping height.
Since Naoki came, all the cars have gone up. Like every one of like our like group of friends, like everyone's car's gone. Like Ash, his car
he raised it at the animal style event.
That was so hard. I've never seen Ash so angry at his mates, and like because he's a stubborn dude and he knows it.
I mean, that car is beautiful, man. His S14 is like, you know.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, as soon as we took it to Adams and we like raised it up and I had some TEs at the time that we put on the front because he was going to start driving it instead of having it parked in the garage. And the car, I'm not kidding, the car was in the garage for like probably 6 years without like really moving. But like he's like having such a good time now driving that car.
Yeah,
it's still like pretty low, but like it was a mission getting him to lift his car up and you know, put a bigger tire on it and put 17s on the front and, you know, put a chunky chubby tire on the front and, you know, do those things that make a car drive better. But like at the end of the day, like if you're not into that, you're not into it. If you're into your car, you know, being a certain height or being a certain color or having a certain body kit, that's what you're into.
Yeah.
But like, don't make up fractions in
that don't exist
a community to like create division. Like it's just it's dumb. It's just dumb, man.
There are plenty of people. So like, my biggest argument to like a lot of the things were said, it's like Ken Gucci drove at Final Bout West. You know what I mean? Like he brought his street car out and was like ripping with everybody. You know what I mean? It's like you can say what you want, but there are definitely people who like cool cars who also like to drive well. It's not like an all or nothing kind of thing. And that's kind of how it came across. And I think that's why it got met with so much hostility and negativity, is it was like this like cut and dry, like you're either you know, driving a 350Z without doors, or you're you know, you're into like lowered cars with like nice paint. It's like
and full aero. You
can't, there's a spectrum, man. Like, and
of course, it's just simple like life. These are normal life things. This is the same with everything. Like some people are going to like different things. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. But like when you try and make it cut and dry, saying things like the guys with a missile car or whatever you want to call it are going to be better drivers, that just makes the other dudes feel like they're bad drivers. And these guys are, you know, think that they're all bad drivers. But that's not the case. You know, like there are some good drivers that have slam cars and like, well, not slam cars, but like, you know, nice looking cars, and they look after them, and that's cool. Yeah. You know, but like creating like hard barriers between each of these things, just it doesn't work, and it's a pointless round in circles conversation.
There was like a comment about like 20 times the seat time, and I was like, like you can have a nice car and like fix it. I don't know. It's you can enjoy it's to me it's like promoting. It was weird because he's like kind of saying the same thing that we're saying, but like by like shitting on both sides. Like if I was if I had like a beat up car and I drove a lot, like I probably wouldn't be happy hearing that either. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's like, oh, you don't give a fuck about cars at all. You just want to like
Yeah.
crash into people. It's like, yeah, well, like, but you're good. It's like, yeah, but I mean, like, my car's not that bad, you know? Like,
yeah,
there's
exactly.
some of that too. I'm sure. It's just,
That's
it was.
the thing. Like,
we don't need to. Everything else is already polarized, man. We don't need to polarize every little like.
No.
Dude, we're already a fucking tiny subculture. Like,
this is the thing. Yeah. Drifting is in the grand scheme of motorsport, car, like life in general, like tuners and, you know, guys who are into cars or whatever, like car enthusiasts, that like drifting's such a small subculture of all of that. Like, man, like all we really need to do is like be friendly with each other, and look after the racetracks that we go to, and
that's a big
everyone's going to be happy. Like, if we have to have separate events, that's cool, man. Like, Final Bout can do their thing, Super D can do their thing, Lone Star can do their thing. Let everyone do their thing, but look after the tracks that we go to so we can still go there.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yes, there's something to be said about like invitation only events and whatever, but it's like there's invitation only events for every type of thing. And like, that kind of sucks, but it's like you can't have, I mean, he said it, like, it's like you don't, if you spent like, you know, a couple grand on your paint job and some dude pulls up in a 350Z with no front bumper and like a cattle pusher bash bar on it, you're like, you know what I mean? You're like, I don't know if I want to let him follow. It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'll kind of drive with anybody at this point. I don't really care. But there are people who like put in the effort on their cars and they like, you know, I don't know. I don't really want, like, it sucks because like I don't want to defend either side because it's like
but I respect everyone's point of view.
Yeah.
But like my point of view is like, I like having a car that feels good to drive, but looks good at the beginning, and then gets progressively shitty and shittier, and then it needs a refresh.
Yeah.
After 12 or 18 months of driving.
Yes, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
I mean, so like the funny part is like Jimmy, he's rolled a car. Like he rolled a car in Japan. Like he went to Japan for like a few months and like drove hard and like literally rolled a car. I don't know if it was on like, I think it was at Ibisu.
Right. Okay.
But like, you know, like the dude sitting there is like, I don't know. It was interesting, but
yeah, it made my whole brain hurt. But like, for me, that's just a pointless conversation. And like, you just go around in circles with dudes, man. Like, it's cool if you like low cars, you like low cars. Just keep your car low.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not judging you and saying, oh, you're not a good driver because your car's low. If you want to have a low car, just have a low car.
The whole like rant that he went on about how there was like a guy at his event with like a low car and like he was like kept telling him to raise it and then he like crashed his car and he's like, well, I fucking told you, like if you would have raised your car, you wouldn't be leaving with a totaled car. It's like, dude, fucking what? Like, like I'd have crashed with it high. Like, you know,
this is the thing, isn't it? Like, just let people do whatever they want to do, and like, people can figure stuff. Like, a lot of the things, like, I mean, we're humans, man. Like, a lot of people's egos get in the way, and you just need to figure things out for yourself. And some, like, I think guys especially, like, something has to be their idea for them to want to do it, you know, to do that thing. So it was like me. Like, all my cars were slammed, and like coilovers for me were only meant to be at like the maximum low. You know, like,
I did it. I love that shit. I still think it looks really cool, man. I do.
Me too. Like, I love having a low car. Like, I think it looks slick. But like, I don't want to drive one on the road. One, because I'm old, and like, I can't.
That's exactly it, man. Like, you just have so much more time when you're young. You have so much more time. You're like, you can spend an entire weekend getting your car out of the driveway. You know what I mean? Like,
and you're stoked to just like do a lap around the block, and that's it. Like, with everything scraping, you're like,
everything's
exhaust scraping.
Yeah, your exhaust is like throwing sparks, and you're like rubbing the front fenders. And
man, I used to think that was
is like
cool.
chirping as you pull into parking spots, and everyone looks at you, and you're just like, I'm the fucking coolest person there ever has lived. And like in their head, they're like, what is wrong with that car? Like,
I feel like these days, if like this is like what happened with the Mark II. Like I drove it around a little bit, and I just felt like people were looking at me going, what is that guy doing? Like, what's he doing in that car? Like, that's so weird. Like, he's an old guy, and like it just doesn't look right. And I just felt like I don't need to drive a car like this around on the road. Like, I've got a nice like truck I can drive around in, and it's way more comfy, and it doesn't scrape on stuff, and it doesn't like have like wheels that hang out, and it doesn't have like 6 degrees of front camber, and it's not droney like annoying exhaust note. Like, I'm just going to drive that and like go to the track and like try and drive real good.
So so what you're saying is we're just going to continue to get older and more boring as time goes on?
Basically, yeah.
All right. Good.
You've got all that to look forward to.
Fuck. Well, it's already happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need it. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, I want a fucking cool street car. Like, I want to like pull up and have people be like, damn. And then I'm like, I don't even drive anywhere cool. Yeah. Like, I just go.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, where am I going to drive to? Like, I don't even leave home on the weekend. Like, we stay in a house, and like we live in like a little like suburb of like Auckland, where we don't literally need to leave because we can walk down the road, and where there's everything we need. There's supermarkets, there's cafes, there's beaches, there's everything's there. So on the weekend, we just hang out in our local town, and we walk down there and take Remy to like the playground or the skate park, and he rolls around on a scooter, and we don't go anywhere. Like, I don't actually need to drive anywhere, like, or cruise in my car. You know what I mean? Like,
you're a scooter kid dad now.
Yeah. Oh, no. My kid, no. I don't scooter.
Yeah, Remy, but your kid's a scooter kid.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
As soon as he, like, gets better, like, I'm throwing that thing in the rubbish bin. And he's just getting a skateboard, and that's it. You can have a skateboard or a bike. He's not having a scooter. No way, man. I can't do it, eh?
I was walking. Okay, so it's funny because I was walking. We live like pretty close to Ocean Beach, so like we've been going there a lot because of COVID, and it's like outside, and it's, got to get out of the house, man. We're just staring at screens all day. Sorry if you're 2 hours into this podcast and realize you have been too. Hopefully you're listening to it on your phone. We were walking back from the beach, and there's a dude carrying his surfboard with his like wetsuit all tied up. We're like kind of walking close to each other, and there's all these kids, and they're on like, kind of like some aggressive looking razor scooters, and one of them does like a little power slide, like when he goes by us, and me and the dude, and it's like a dude with like dreads, and he's like very like beach like guy, we make eye contact, and I was like, man, the skate park scooter kids grew up, and he's like, I don't think I've ever seen one do like a power slide like that. And I was like, it was kind of cool. And he's like, no, it wasn't.
Oh, it's just so uncool. I don't get it. Like, to me, it's the uncoolest thing.
Yeah.
Like, skating back when I was that age was like the thing, like if you were on a scooter like that, you were a dork.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't do it. But now it's like all the cool kids down at the skate park have scooters.
Yeah.
One kid there with like knee pads on and all that stuff, trying to learn to skate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
It's because skating's harder.
Yeah, for sure.
So kids want to do easy stuff. And
they want to be able to like hold on and like hit the brakes and stuff. But then like
they can do drop-ins on the half pipe and do little whips coming out and stuff. And like, you're never going to really hurt yourself on a razor scooter.
Yeah.
Like you do on a skateboard. Like,
I don't know, man. Maybe let him keep rolling on the scooter. Maybe he'll go pro.
No. I think he's only just like figuring out how to turn. And like,
he's pretty young, huh?
He's 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was at the beach with us that one day.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, young. Yeah. But he's doing all right, and like he's figured out how to like roll around and like scoot himself around and like steer and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, he's ready. So I took him up the ramp. And like quite a steep, like just a straight ramp, not like a pipe, like a half pipe, a quarter pipe.
Yeah.
And I like sat up there, like pretty near the top, I guess. And it's probably about, I don't know, 2 meters or couple of yards long as a ramp. And I was like, oh, he'll be all right. So I took him up there and I was like, I'll hold you and I'll let you go. So I did it. And like, he just got to the ground and was just like,
oh, man.
Face plant. And I was like, oops. And like the wife comes over and she's like, oh, you okay? And he's like, ah, like crying and stuff. But he got straight back up and went straight back to his scooter and got back on and started riding it again. So like,
all right.
I was glad that I didn't like completely wreck his like scootering dreams.
Yeah. Then he's like, all right, well, I'm just going to play video games for the rest of my life now. And you're like,
oh no. Oh my God. He's definitely, please don't make him do that. I don't want
yeah. You don't want a child with like a Twitch stream.
Oh man. Not really, but like he can do whatever he wants to do, man. I'm pretty liberal. He can do what he wants to do.
Yeah, I feel like kids growing up in this next generation is gonna be pretty weird.
Oh, it's weird. It's definitely gonna be like a weird time.
You know what? Like, I was thinking about this today. The weirdest thing is, imagine you have kids or you already have had a child. You have grown up in the era where everything that you've done is now like searchable by your child as they get older. So they can see you like in different years and what you were doing. Yeah. Like how weird is that? So now that's in my head. I'm like, all right, if I ever were a kid. Like,
that is odd. Now that's in my head. I'm trying to think how far back my like Facebook goes. Probably like 2008 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have Facebook, so I'm gonna be okay. But my Instagram's got some stuff on it.
Yeah, okay.
Luckily, the stories only last 24 hours.
That's it. Well, we've got that Blinken YouTube channel. Mind you, there's not really anything on there.
No, I mean that's cool though. Like that's I feel like that's like really interesting, right? Like you kind of go around. So you did like machine check. You did like the videos of us coming. You did, I don't know, like event videos. That's actually how I learned that I would need to have safety gear was by watching.
Oh, through the videos. Yeah. Okay.
I was like, they're all wearing driving suits and shoes. I don't think that that's because they want to.
They're definitely not. Yeah, you definitely want to. Yes, I guess that was pretty helpful. We probably should have. Oh no, we did end up telling you how much like safety gear you needed. Yeah. But we ended up hiring a lot of the stuff anyway as well. Like the, gloves and boots and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the YouTube thing, I guess. Like, I mean, it's not. I don't even really know why it started. Everyone was just like, "Oh, we should film some of the stuff." Well, it's like, Ruby, you should film some of the stuff, and then I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went out and got like a cheap Panasonic Lumix camera and like just started filming stuff, and then like I don't know, it's kind of fun to do, I guess, and like it's a good like a diary, I guess, of things, like because I went back and watched a bunch of older ones when I did like the 180 stuff, and I was like I was watching that, you know, now that I'm doing another car, I went back and watched that and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, it was an absolute pain in the ass, why am I doing it all? But like, just to remind myself how much it sucks building cars. But like, it's just cool to be able to go back and look at some of the stuff we did. And like, I think the channel's been going for like 2 years nearly. No, it'd been like maybe a little more than 2 years. And I mean, we're pretty like lax when it comes to like making videos, and like we don't film everything, but it's just cool to like do it sometimes and like put a video up, and if people like watching it, then it's, you know, that's cool.
Yeah. And you like, it's weird because you never know who's seen it or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't know. I kind of like to like get to know you behind the scenes videos of kind of like, oh, this is this person. Like, I don't know. Instagram's really weird, and like Facebook's weird, where it's like you don't really know who's who, and it's
all pretty impersonal. Yeah. But no, the YouTube thing, because it's like a bit more, you know, candid, I guess, and like you know, we don't take it seriously like doing YouTube. You know, it's just something like if I feel like filming, or Ash or Joe or Graham or Joel or anyone feels like filming and picking up the thing and filming some stuff, then they can do it. But like,
you don't change your voice to film.
Me?
Yeah, no one on those videos has a different voice when they're doing
it. We don't have our film our studio like TV voice.
YouTuber yeah.
No. Like it's cool. Like, I mean, we never like set out to be like Adam LZ or something like that. Like, we only do it because it's fun for us to do and like keep a record of a few things. And
I feel like it would be hard. Dude, I couldn't imagine trying to put a video out every day.
Oh my God. Like, I feel like
that's a lot of work, man. How do you have something interesting to do every day? Like, there's a lot of days where I'm just like, I haven't done shit.
Yeah. But like with me, especially with like building this Mark II at home, like I think I might have said it in the last video. Like, I don't have much time when I'm doing this. So like when I am doing it, I've just got to like get as much done as I can. So I don't really have a lot of time to film stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of hard with like, you know, it's really intermittent, and there's parts where there's like a bunch of stuff gets done and I haven't filmed anything. It like goes from one thing to like another thing and it's already all done and I haven't filmed.
I've definitely tried to film. Julian will be like, "Oh yeah, get some clips of you like work on your car."
Yeah.
I never send him anything
because it's because you get into a route, like especially if you're doing things by yourself. It's a little bit different when we're like up at Adam's shop and like
someone could like pop the camera and be like,
you guys are working around and like set it down and like, you know, time lapse it or whatever, or like someone else picks it up and does it. But when you're by yourself, like the last thing you're thinking about is like filming yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
for
like,
sure.
It kind of sucks, but like,
I think it takes a special type.
Man.
Or having like a lot of subscribers and then you get lots of that YouTube cake, you know?
Yeah, and then you get your own like video guy to do it, man. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
What do you think of LZ's car? The S15?
The S15? I mean, Michael did it, so I have to like it, you know what I mean? No, I actually like it. I think
into it, yeah, I think it's friggin' sick.
It's yellow, and what's the color on the back? Is it purple?
It's like a red.
Oh, so it's a C's Garage fade. I didn't even think about that until right now.
Yeah. No, it's like it kind of like a reddy, then it goes orange. It's like a 3-stage fade, I guess, and then into yellow. So, yeah, he's like the new C's Garage member, I think.
Oh, that's nice, dude.
Yeah.
You should have him fly that car out to New Zealand for your event.
Yeah, that car though, man, I reckon it looks sick. Like, as far as like
pretty cool
car goes, like, it's pretty sick. I'm not like I like the kit. Yeah. But if I had any choice
what kit is it? The front bumper is really interesting.
It's Yashio factory.
It is, huh? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I had a choice for like S15 Aero, it would be Kazama, like that really sick Kazama Aero, you know.
Yeah.
That all the FD Japan S15s run.
Yeah, the wild
but
shit.
I'm guessing he's got some kind of deal with
Yashio
factory. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It looks sick. Like it's rad.
He's an interesting dude. He's cool enough. We like met. He came to Super D Northwest. He drove Super D Midwest, but I didn't go to that. He was like kind of hanging out. Like we went to dinner with him and stuff. And like I was like, I kind of like ripped on him a little bit. Like he was he's like, I don't know.
If you're not jealous of what he's doing, then like,
do you have a pulse?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he is living every true drift guy's dream.
Yeah, he can go to like Formula D with no sponsors. Like, what?
He can do that. He can have like a practice car that's basically another pro car. He can have JZXs.
When he built the JZ E36, I was like, all right, okay. Because he didn't say anything about it when we were at Northwest, and then he like built the same. He has the same
Palmer's mortal enemy.
He has the same angle kit. He has the same. You know, it's cool, man. Like I respect it. Like, you know, talk to me when you're sponsored by Bomex, Adam. All right, like pull up then. All right. But also, please don't get sponsored by Bomex. I need to keep that one.
That's like, man, that is legit. He's living like it's dream stuff. I mean, it's a lifestyle, isn't it? But
I just want his R34. That's all. I want that.
Oh yeah, that's pretty nice, eh? Yeah. He's a very, very lucky boy. Very lucky boy. Oh, I'm 100% jealous of him. I'd love to be in his position.
He puts the work in, man. He puts out those videos. Absolutely. I didn't even know who he was. He came to Super D 2016 in the beige car. Like I don't really go on YouTube. I don't like watch YouTube stuff. It's probably not good to say that because I'm like putting these on YouTube, but like I don't really know. I don't know who's like who or what. Like I try and kind of stay out of it. And my friend's like, "Oh, dude, I saw you in the Adam LZ video," because like I was tandeming with him and Denofa, and I didn't know either of them were. Like I didn't know that was Denofa's practice car or like Adam's car or anything. So like there's like a clip of us at Grange, and we're all kind of like stacked up, and. Dude, I guess I don't like because I don't have Facebook, so like I don't really people don't like share YouTube videos on Instagram, so like I don't really know what's happening there. And it was crazy. I had like 10 people like, I saw you in the LZ video, and I was like, who's LZ? Who's Adam? What do you? And then so I like watched the video, and I was like, oh, it's some like YouTuber guy. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And like from then on, like. People just talk about that guy like all the time, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like people would come up to him at Northwest, and like he'd be like having a conversation and be like, "Bro, like I just got to tell you, like you took me out of a dark place, and I'm like, I just respect you so much. Like and he's just like, I'm sorry, let me finish my conversation with who I'm talking to currently, like to the person who's like confessing their undying love and like pretty much damn near like, trying to fucking jerk him off like in the pits. Like it's crazy, man. Like I don't know. I couldn't imagine. Like Hurt kind of like deals with that a little bit too. Like
right.
Like he goes to an event, and I don't think he gets to drive that much because he's like literally talking to people most of the time.
With people. Yeah, Adam I guess that side of things like that would not make me happy.
Mm-hmm. I think Adam's a little better at being like, I'm driving now. Like, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about like he's got nearly 3 million subscribers on YouTube or something like that. Like it's nuts. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
That's
a lot of people that want to see what you're doing every day.
Yeah. And like you could even meet like 1% of all those people, and like it's still a shitload of people. Like it's just crazy. Yeah. Crazy to try and think about that. But man, no, he's certainly got like a pretty interesting life. I mean, I like watching some of his videos. I don't like religiously watch him. I'll watch it if like it's something that might interest me. It might be something to do with his like S15 or
I watched him break in the E36.
Oh, you did watch that one?
I did, yeah. I had to see that. I was like, all right. Let's see how it goes. And I was like, damn it, dude, I want that turbo. Like that turbo is so sick. That's like my friend Matt has a turbo on his 1J, and I'm just like, okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep.
So what turbo have you got on yours then? Like, is it one of those drift motion upgrade things?
Yep.
It's supposed to still be pretty good for like pretty good power, right?
Yeah. Once I weld up the external gate, I'm gonna throw it on another dyno because I got it tuned on I did the engine harness myself. I got everything right except two things. I flipped the crank angle sensor and the cam angle sensor wires, so they're both backwards.
Okay.
We've lost a little time on the dyno, but so I ended up having to go to a less popular dyno.
Oh, okay.
It's like one of those like 1970s like mile per hour dynos. So at
wow, okay.
it's like at 70 miles an hour you make this many horsepower or whatever.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those like ancient fucking things. Yeah. But it did okay. I want to put it on like a real dyno once I'm done. I think my intake was too small and some other stuff. Like my intake was like my intake filter was like filthy when I got it tuned and like all kinds of other shit. I don't know engines that well.
And you're running it, and you're going to be running it on E85 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a flex fuel sensor just so I can see if the E85 is bad or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Probably a
I'm,
good fail safe, maybe having that.
yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of all about having every sensor you could possibly have because why not?
I mean, if the ECU can do it, then why not? Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you? Oh, that's cool, man. So what's your plans like for driving? Like, are you just going to keep driving this year and
I
driving as you can?
I was talking to Jason a bit, and he's talking about wanting to do like some comps and stuff, just because
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Jason's a monster. Like he like competition. He has always been Mr. Consistent, and then he's just been getting like more aggressive with his consistency, which is like even cooler. There was like a time when like Ryan and Julian were like animal style, and Jason was like a guy, you know. And like when Naoki came that first time, and like he was chasing Jason like nonstop, like Jason was damn near like, you know, California Fujio. Like,
yeah, right.
I think after that, dude, it's just been like he's just been like unstoppable. But he's always been really good, and so I don't know. Where was I going with this? Anyway, he wants to do some comps.
Yeah.
And I kind of like sworn off comps because I was like, but I was younger. I would like do well in qualifying, and then I would always choke on my chase run.
Yeah.
Like in top 16 or top 32 or whatever. So like I kind of let it get to me too much, and I was just like, I'm not having fun. I want to have fun. So I stopped doing any competitions. And then as of recently, I'm like, you know what? I think I wanna like get a third place trophy or something, just to know that I don't need to be driving with a team to win a team tandem trophy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I want
fair
to
enough.
like be like, I want to be my own person, and so I think that's the goal for 2021. Also, I'm going to Poland for next level.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, you should come out, dude. It'll be fun. 2021.
Poland. Holy crap. How far is that for you? That's like
I don't know. So I'll get on the plane. Oh, is it like, what's the difference between 10 hours and 14 hours on a plane?
Yeah, true.
It's two bad movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah, right.
They're
okay, that's cool. Like, are you going out there to drive, or are you just going to like watch?
Yeah,
are you going out there to drive?
Yeah, I made friends with like a lot of, because they're like really big into like Japan style BMWs out there.
Yeah.
So like I've been talking to a lot of people for like a long time on IG and stuff, and one of them said like, you should come out, and then I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I come out for next level if I'm going to come out? So I hit up the next level people, and they're like, yeah, please. So
cool. Work it.
A couple people were like, yeah, we'll try. Like, I don't know, throw me in an E36, I'll be okay. Everything's left-hand drive there, so
yeah. Oh, that's rad. Good fun.
I'll throw them a couple bucks if I run over a front bumper, you know, not like I did for you.
That's all right. We didn't pay for that front bumper. It's okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Origin.
Yeah. Thanks, Origin. Thanks, Alex at Moonlight.
Yeah. How about you,
man?
That
sounds cool.
Do you have anything lined up? Like, are you planning any events in the future, or are you just wait until something strikes your interest?
Well, as in like personally driving, or like for DClub organizing?
Either or.
Both. Yeah, we haven't really started talking about another event yet. Like, we've had a few ideas thrown around. That's pretty much as far as it's got. Like, we're all pretty busy with our own stuff, so like finding time to like sit down with Ash and Joel and like nut out another event is just not really on any of our radars right now. But I don't know, maybe like we've kind of got this 2-year, every second year thing going, so we'll probably try and do something.
There's a lot of effort that goes into bringing people from abroad.
Oh, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's like it's frightening the whole entire time as well, because there's some like pretty serious money numbers that are involved
put up front,
making this whole thing happen.
Yeah.
And like, it's not, I can't even my credit cards would be maxed out if I tried to pay for half of the stuff myself. You know what I mean? And it's for some reason, I'm the one who's like kind of the responsible for that kind of stuff and all of that. So like, so yeah, it's like once we've got things a little bit more settled down in our own lives, like Joel's busy with his business and Ash is busy with his work and I'm busy with my stuff. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like for me, just like I just want to get the Mark II done, and hopefully in the next month or so, maybe the next sort of 8 weeks, sort of aiming to have it running. And because our tuner lives like at the bottom of the North Island, so it's like an 8-hour drive. So it's a mission going down there to get it tuned. So you got to make sure everything's like 100% when you go there. You don't want to be like dicking around fixing stuff 8 hours away from home. You know, so sort of hoping to go down there and get that done maybe like late October, early November, and then have the car like ready and driving by like summertime here. So, and then just drive, man. I just want to drive as much as possible.
Yeah. Yes.
Drive.
So you've been in drifting. You've been at least around drifting in New Zealand, like for most of its existence, right? Like, what do you see as like the future of drifting there? Is it?
I think because New Zealand's so small, I don't really see any major changes to how it is now. So I think we're going to have our, grassroots days. I don't even really like that word grassroots, because it's not really an apt description of what goes on at some of these events. Free and open track days. So we've got those. We've got like Matsuri stuff that happens, sort of 3 times a year at Taupo, and there's other events that happen at Taupo quite often. And then D1NZ, and I think those will just stay how they are. Like, I think D1NZ, like it's slowly becoming a little bit more professional looking. Okay. Their main sponsors changed to Valvoline instead of like. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But before that, they were like sponsored by like a vape company or like or like a fizzy alcoholic drink company. There's a certain like way that gets depicted to like the public, and I just don't think it helped the perception of drifting to the public. But now like Valvoline are on board, and like it gets broadcast live on like paid TV here.
That's cool.
It actually gets broadcast live, which is pretty amazing. So that opens up.
Was that not the case before?
No, it wasn't. So it was generally broadcast like on Facebook or like.
Oh, okay. So it was just live stream.
It was just live stream, but this is like a proper TV production quality like broadcast, and it just throws a big like an air of professionalism around the series, and I think it's pretty cool. Like, it's only good for drifting.
Yeah.
When people know more about drifting, and more people who haven't heard or watched it before are watching it for the first time. Like, it's cool.
They tune in and they're like, "Oh, okay, this is like."
Yeah, exactly, and like, and there's like a commentator there who's been around motorsport a fair bit, and like he's a familiar face for a lot of people. He's never been involved with drifting before until now, and like now he's there and involved and like doing a lot of the live interviews and stuff, and it just adds an air of like professionalism, and I think that's always good. I mean, we've got some good like pro drivers here. No one's pro in New Zealand because no one gets paid to go driving. Everyone has to like pay to go and drift.
Yeah.
In our top competition, we've got some pretty good drivers, and we've got some. There's some sponsorship here, like Dan Woolhouse has an RTR Mustang, and like Darren Kelly has an R35, and there's some pretty high-end race cars, like in the series, and like I think.
Do you think Adam will ever make a return?
Who? Sorry, Adam?
Yeah.
Nah.
He's done.
Nah, he's done with competition drifting, from what I can tell. Yeah, things would have to change a lot, I think, in the judging thing. I really think D1NZ would do well to just adopt FD rules across the board.
Really?
Yeah, like it's just like there's a lot of like. It's kind of hard to like say it without sounding like a dick, but there's like a lot of personal opinion on what looks good as far as a drift goes. You know, within the judging.
I think we deal with that. I think we deal with that with FD also. Like you watch FD and you're like, what was that call? You know.
But the rules are the rules are probably a lot more clear cut than they are here. It seems.
So it's very subjective.
It's very subjective. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's probably not consistent enough. Like I think in general, like if you went through the paddock at like a D1NZ round and asked all the pro drivers if they had the opportunity to do anything in drifting, what would it be? They'd all say drive FD. That's what they'd all say.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. That would be the dream for all of them.
That's crazy.
You know, like that's FD's the pinnacle of drifting these days. That's how it is, right?
Man,
do you not think so?
I don't know. Yeah.
As far as competition drifting goes, not drifting as a whole, but I mean, like, as far as competition drifting goes, FD has to be the top level.
Is that because? Why do you think? Do you think that's because Japanese drivers come and people from all over the world come and James Dean and?
I think that, and I think partly because it's America and there's a perception of them being a lot of money there and sponsorship opportunities, and
I see.
You know, you don't anywhere else see at any other drift event guys with friggin' double stack 4-car articulated truck trailer units turning up with their race cars, multiple race cars in it with massive tents and every conceivable spare part. You don't see that anywhere else.
So I hate to break this to New Zealand, but the US has a lot more people, and on average there's a lot more people with a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's why FD has become the pinnacle. I mean, for us, like, I mean, I don't know about you, but the pinnacle is always going to be D1 GP in Japan. Yeah. That's always going to be the pinnacle for me, because that's where for me it was the first main big competition I ever saw, and that's where I, you know, take inspiration from. And
I think
stuff.
I think some people would love to aspire to drive in D1, and some people would love to aspire to drive in FD, depending on the type of drifting that you like. Yeah,
but anyway, where I was going was, you ask any dude in the paddock at D1NZ, and they're going to say FD USA. That's where they all love to drive and compete at. Make the rules universal for like drift competitions.
Yeah,
like you've got to make the tire rules universal. Like it's crazy to me that, like, you know, maybe not here in New Zealand so much because we don't have availability of the tires like in the US or Japan, I guess. But like the tire rules, like they just, like, I can understand why they're there, but like we've got a pro sport class, which is like your guys, I guess, Pro 2. Mm-hmm. But like they're not allowed to run on anything bigger than like a 235 radial. So they're not even allowed to use it like a softer compound tire.
But I think they're trying to keep the level down, I guess.
But the dudes, all they end up doing is like rolling burnouts everywhere, because they're still running like, you know, 600 horsepower engines.
Right.
And like the car's completely unbalanced because it's got a 235 on it, and you've got to run, you know, there's a rule in D1NZ that you're not allowed to run less than 14 PSI in your tires.
Yeah.
And they'll check you. But obviously, like, you're probably going to debead a tire much lower than that.
Right? Yeah.
But like, you can only get so much grip out of a 235. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But just like, you're not really helping that group.
Yeah, maybe like keep the horsepower level down and let them run a big tire so it's exciting.
Like, why not just let them run a 265 as well?
Yeah.
And, you know, but keep them in that group away from the next level up.
Yeah.
You're not, you can only get so good on a 235, and then you jump up to a 265 semi, and it's a whole nother universe when it, in driving.
So there's so FD getting so we have friends in FD. We have friends who've been in FD. We have friends that tried Pro 2. We have friends that are, currently doing FD, right? Like that's just how it is. Like we've been, around it a long time. The story is very different depending on what your financial backing looks like.
Yeah,
so,
right.
We have friends that have, very comfortable family situations where they can afford to go on the level of, some of the teams on like a privateer level. It has come a very long way from the Matt Powers flat towing his KAT S14 around the country, right? Like, or like Benson, who literally like put his street car on a hauler and sent it to Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the drive. We know a lot of people who have gotten their Pro 2 license who just didn't go because the amount of investment is like, it's like $100,000 to do a season for Pro 2, and like you got your license in Pro-Am by doing like 3 or 4 rounds locally with like a slap dick turbo kit car, right? And so like I think that's why they did Pro 2. I think they did Pro 2 because I remember the year that there was like it was actually the year that Jason and Julian were gonna do FD. So they both got their licenses and they were like building their cars. Jason's car blew up on the dyno because of some like overpromise, underdeliver situations. And like Julian kind of went through some similar stuff. That same year, there was like a bunch of other like people who got their license in Pro-Am and they went out at Long Beach and like could barely drift the course. And they were like, we got to do something about this. Like, we can't just have like Pro-Am feed to FD. And then they did the Pro 2 thing.
Yeah.
But even if you do well in Pro 2 and you get your FD license, it's not like you just start getting all the sponsorships. Like, you got to be somebody. Like, you have to be somebody, or you got to have absolute loot cash. Like, I was talking to this old school dude, Ryan Bell, who did FD for like a couple seasons, and like, it was at a Pro-Am round because I was young and I was like, I want to be a pro and stuff. Like I'm not, not that I would have been, but he was like, man, I was painting houses. He's like, I haven't slept more than 4 hours in the last like 6 months. Like I like, dude, I'm telling you, man, like if you want to do this, like it is insanely grueling. Like, and he was a badass driver too. He just, he didn't have the money to like do the car to the level. It was like right around those years where they went from like, 400 or 500 horsepower to like 8.
Yeah. Well, Daigo comes along with his Lexus, with 1,000 horsepower and changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's always a fine line. I think you've got to be like, I mean, some people probably just need to try it to see that it's not for them. You know, like, I'd never discourage anyone from like doing what they wanted to do as far as drifting goes, or like, I think the thing is, young guys will come into it and be like, they see that level and they see D1NZ and they go, like here anyway, they go, that's where I want to be because that's the pinnacle of drifting.
Yeah.
So they start down here and they go, I'm aiming to be up here, so I'm going to try and make my way up to there. But then they get there and they try and do a competition and realize it's so ridiculously expensive and you don't get much track time, and then just forget about it and either give up and part out their car and you never see them again, or they simplify their car a little bit and they just drive with their homies at the racetrack and have fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Kato did. Like, Kato was an FD, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I remember him being an FD, yeah.
He was, like, on DNA and, like, that car, like every other event, like some problem, but he'd like qualify super high and like you would throw down and like, man, I don't want to say too much, but like, you know, he was like getting to a point where it's like, you know, you can only do so much to compete with like a factory built drift car, you know?
This is a thing. And I mean, motorsport's money, right? Like you've got to have money, either your own money or someone else's money, and lots of it to spend and to probably do well. Like talents. I mean, there's probably some really, really good drivers that would never have a shit show of getting close to like doing top level competition drifting. You know what I mean? Like you just don't know. Like the next James Dean or Naoki Nakamura could be poor and can only afford like an NA S14 or something like that.
Yeah.
But drives sick, but can't afford to like go to that next level. Like it's just, I guess that's just what it is, though, isn't it? Like one of those things. I
feel like if you're that good, then you need to find a way. Like I don't think
probably,
like, now he was like definitely he didn't grow up with cash. And
no, I still don't think he has any cash. All this money goes on his car, right?
Oh man, he's his plate, like the shop that he kept all his cars at, like up until 2 years ago, didn't even have a bathroom. You know what I mean? Like
he's pissing and shitting out the back.
Yeah. Straight up. He's graduated, he's got a squat toilet now. I used it.
Oh, he's living his life, eh? That's awesome. Yeah. But I don't know, eh? Like I've never seen like drifting as like something I want to be like try and compete at. For me, like that seems like it might not be fun. But then like
it's not when you lose.
Yeah, well that's it. But then like recently, like a friend of ours, Vincent, managed to get to do a couple of rounds of D1NZ Pro Sport recently, and like he was in like a 300 and something horsepower S14, and like did really well. Like, you know, managed to do pretty good. And it looked like he was having a lot of fun, and like talking to him, he's like, yeah, it's really good fun. I was like, man, maybe it would be cool to like try and do a couple of rounds of D1NZ when the Mark II's done. You know, like
just do the second round, the lower tier stuff. It's like don't even go to the top tier. Just stay there.
Yeah, like, but like
I feel like if Adam went and did that and like went and did the lower level, like why go do the big stuff? Go do the lower level stuff with the small tires and go have like a blast, you know? And if you lose, it's like whatever.
Yeah, you'd never get Adam on a 235 radial ever.
Not with that monster.
Yeah, no way. But like, and then I was like it'd be kind of cool. But then it's like, but would it actually? Because like, one, I've got to pay for it all out of my own pocket. Whereas like, you know, Vince managed to get a driving someone else's car, and a few things paid for, and like it wasn't like the full costs that he had to cover. But like, you know, it's kind of hard when you like you've been drifting for like a while, and you've got no real reference of like how good you are as a driver. Like I only really
that's why I want to do it. That's all.
Yeah, like, and like I can't hang with like Joel and Adam. Like
fuck, neither can I.
Like I couldn't even like trying my best. Like I'm not at that level. Like but like
maybe if they came here and they drove somebody else's car and I was in mine, I think I could probably show them a good time, you know.
Yeah, but like Joel and Adam and Graham are like, Graham not so much anymore because he doesn't have a drift car, but like those guys are like at such a high level when it comes to driving together, and like me trying to like get in on that, like it's a little hard. Like I feel a little standoffish. I don't want to like try and get right in with them and fuck everything up, you know what I mean? So I end up sort of driving a bit more by myself, but then like I don't really get the opportunity to like drive with anyone else.
Yeah,
you know,
you got to do it. Honestly, man, like just drive with them more. You know?
I will. This is the thing. Like once I've got like the Mark II, sort of, I was just like, man, I'm just gonna jump in. Like you've just got to do it. Like
driving with people better than you is
That's the thing. Yeah.
It like crushes you a bit. Like, okay, so at the very first bash, I hadn't really driven with Julian because when we became friends, like he was building his car for FD, and then it like didn't really go to plan or whatever. But that was the first event that we drove together. Was the first bash of the future, and like we were tandeming, and I spun out, and he fucking hit me, and I like flew off the track, and I was like, oh my god, like that was my fault. I like ruined everything, and it's like now we've crashed into each other so many times, and like Jason's like, dude, just hit me. Like they're like, just hit me, it's fine. Like I've hit the back of your car like 100 times now. Like it's cool, like once you get to that point, I don't know, maybe things are a little different with those guys. Their cars are real nice. Like
they're nice, but they don't care about them to like worry about getting hit or hitting people. So like, I don't know. I just got to pick up my nutsack and just get on with it. Really,
that's really it.
So I'm kind of in the middle with our group of friends. Like it's like Joel and Adam, and used to be Graham, who've been driving for ages and driving together a lot and competed and all that kind of stuff. And then there's me by myself, who's like probably a little bit more advanced than like Ash and Joe.
Yeah,
I
saw you rip. You know how to drive.
Oh, I'm not bad, but I'm not like where I want to be.
Yeah.
I'm always striving to be better. Like I'd never say that I'm a good driver because.
I have a question. Okay. Yeah. So when you go to this is like people say seat time and like driving a lot and stuff. But what I noticed is there's a difference between going to a lot of events and taking full advantage of the events that you go to, right? So like, are you one of those people who like goes to an event, like goes down, throws down some cool laps, like takes a break, hangs out, and like watches? Or are you like trying to drive as much as you humanly can?
I think with the way we Drift Forces run, like the event that we do the most of, there's 3 classes. So every time my class is out,
I'm out there.
100%. And generally, we are always the last ones to leave the track. Like Mike, I'm pretty sure Mike gets pissed off with us because we're always the last ones on the trailer, and always the last one.
The day's over at 5. It's fucking 4:53, guys. Like, get off the track.
No, literally, that's what happens. We leave there, Hampton Downs, in the dark, basically every single time. And like that's like you got to get your money's worth, right? You're paying a couple of $100 to enter. So like, if you're not out there, like if I'm not out there still driving, it's because I've run out of tires or my car's broken. Yeah.
So that's Jason. Jason is literally he is driving the wheels off the car as much as he possibly can at every single event, and that's why he just continues to progress and progress and progress. Jason drives more than anybody. Like Jason will do events in his daily during the week, and he'll do a drift event in his car on the weekend. Like he literally drives more than anybody on the team by double, right? Yeah. And like that's why he keeps progressing. And like Julian is just a natural, right? Like he's just got that like raw talent that's like unfair. Like he can show up to the event and do like 3 laps and like put it on someone's door and hit every fucking clipping point on the whole track, and you're just like, okay, all right, cool, man, like, we get it. But he does drive a lot, so like if his car is working, like he will drive it until it's not working.
I think you got to do that. I think you see a lot of the time like guys are just like one little thing will go wrong and then the car will go back on the trailer.
That's
like don't do that. Like you're not.
That's big, man. I think that's the biggest mistake you can make. Is, I mean, there's obviously like points when you put the fucking car on the trailer, like but it's what that point is. Like there's definitely people that are like, I'm gonna head home. I'm good. I got my fix. I got my fill. It's like that. The end of the day is where you level up, right? The end of the day, because it's like you're using most, like half the day, the first half of the day, you're just getting comfortable and getting back to where you were at the last event. And then the end of the day is when you like push yourself and you're like, all right, we made it this far. Like, we're still running. Let's go.
That's it, isn't it? Because I mean, there's that natural attrition as well at a drift event where like drivers and cars sort of give up the ghost, and then at the drift force days anyway, like the last session is like open track for everyone for an hour.
Yeah.
So like you can literally be out there and just endurance drift for as long as your tires will last, you know, trying to nail the corner, and it's sick. And there's like no one out there. You can just go lap.
That's the best.
You know, it's so good.
And that's where you learn. That's like where you learn the most.
That's the thing, but it surprises me every single time that 80% of the entrants have already left or are on the trailer in that last session, you know, of the day. Like, just hang around and like
you're giving away the secrets.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like Mike's been doing Drift Force for like 2 years.
I mean,
like,
that's how it is at every event. People show up early, they're like ready to go, raring, they're like in line, and then, you know, it gets hot and people go to lunch or whatever, and it's like that. You know, people talk about seat time and driving a lot. It's like, it's not just going to events, you know, a lot. It's about like driving as much as you possibly can at each event.
Yeah.
I think that's what I noticed. It's like you get out of it what you put in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say the same shit over again. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like I feel like a little bit here in New Zealand especially, like a lot of dudes they're not really interested in becoming better drivers. They're just interested in how many tires they can go through.
Oh man, that's a
you know what I mean?
Comment
like,
right there.
I feel like you know, sometimes like that seems to be like the trophy for the event is like, oh man,
it's like a stack of burnt tires.
I smashed 20 tires today.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that sucks. That's like $2,000 worth of tires, man. Like, that's not cool. Like, I'd kick myself in the nuts if I had to spend $2,000 and blow all these tires in one day at an event.
We had so at that Oregon event, some of the guys. So like it was thrown by just like a friend of ours, right? They just rented the track. It was like completely empty. There's like a group of dudes from like Northern California and like Oregon as well, and they had some like crazy built cars. Like, I mean, one of them was crazy built. The other one was like pretty built, but with like they both had like 600 foot-pounds of torque, like LSs with blowers and like all kinds of bottles, and you know, just, and we're on like a go-kart track, which I get it, you know, like it's cool, like they sound gnarly, you know, but at one time they came over, they're like, we heard you guys have some like magic tires that last like all day, and we're like, I mean, so we found out like they're running like 245s, you know, or like not a big tire at all, like on a 17 or whatever, and the other one was like running like, and they weren't like, they were like cheap, you know, like you're like low like high, you know, like very cheap tire with like high tread wear, but like obviously don't last very long, like the like soft, you know, the like soft high tread wear like cheap tires. And they're like, you got to get the grip to slip ratio down. Yeah. Because you guys are just like blowing the tires off the car going down the straight. Like, you notice we like go fast down the straight and then start drifting. Like, we don't just like
do rolling burnouts.
Yeah. And it was like interesting because they had never like thought about that before. Like, they were like, oh, I mean, that makes sense. Like, it was like literally, it was like as simple as just being like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know.
Yeah, and it's
like run a bigger tire, it won't get as hot. Run a stickier tire, it won't spin as much.
Yeah. Logic, eh? But yeah, I think the same thing as well. Like, these guys don't.
They brought like 10 tires or 20 tires each or something, and they went through them all in like, you know, no time at all. And I brought like a used set and like one new set, and we drove till I literally ran out of gas.
Yeah. I don't like going to a drift event and using more than like 8 tires. That makes me angry.
I couldn't imagine that. And like, yeah, we do have some good options here. Like, I don't know. Do you guys get Kendas? You can't get those, right?
Yeah, no, we get Kendas here. Yeah, we can get Kendas. Yeah.
Have you tried the new 180 treadwear ones?
Nah.
Check those out.
Are they good, are they?
Oh yeah.
Are they the KR20As?
KR20A, there's two versions and they don't like, they're not obvious. It's literally the exact same tire, but there's a 300 treadwear and a 180 treadwear.
Oh, okay.
The 180 treadwear is on the business. They're like, definitely scrub them in, because if you don't, like, they're like axle breakers. Like,
oh, okay, really?
Like, but they'll be really nice on the JZX.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not really that lucky here when it comes to tires. Like, we kind of just have to use what is available. Like, we don't, because we're not such a big market. You know, there's not a huge amount of like tires available. Like, most of us are using like those Good Rides, like we were.
Those seem good though.
Yeah, they're not terrible. Yeah, and they seem to last okay, but like, yeah, they're not that great on the front. Like, they're pretty shitty. I mean, you know that when you guys were here, we ended up changing them all out for like all the front tires out. Those Good Rides.
I don't think I'd run Kendas on the front either.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of good tires out there, honestly. Like, but I guess the secret sauce is like run a bigger tire so they don't get as hot.
Yeah.
And they don't spin as much and go faster.
I feel like guys just don't even realize, like, the more burnouts you do when you're drifting, like, if you don't like let the tire cool down, they're gonna fall apart. And like, guys like think it's funny to like do 2 laps and like have to come back in and change tires. Like, to some people that's cool, and that's cool drifting for them. You know what I mean?
That did happen to me at when we ran the big track at Thunder Hill. I went through like a pair of new tires in like 3 laps, and I was like,
that track looks fun. That looks fast, man.
You guys got to come check that one out. It's
hell
like,
yeah.
It's so expensive to rent. It's like,
oh, is it?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say much more, but yeah, it's you got to plan well if you're gonna throw an event for drifting.
How many cars did you guys have there?
Not enough.
I haven't really seen much like footage or like videos or anything.
It's not a good spectating track at all.
Oh, okay.
It's like the worst for spectating ever.
Pretty long and big, isn't it?
It's super long, and like the pit is in the middle. And so like you can see one section or you can see the other section if you go to like that fence or this fence, but there's like 5, there's like, 2 minutes in between you doing this section and then coming over here. And then there's like another like 2 minutes before you're like done with this section and then coming down the front straight again.
Right. Okay.
But man,
2 tires, eh?
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't suggest coming to hang out and watch, but like if you're gonna get some laps in, like that's a good time.
Yeah, it looks like a sick entry, like that full speed front straight thing.
I was in 4th, and I could probably go to 5th if my clutch wasn't slipping, and I like entered on the front straight better. I could go to 5th, and I'm stock final drive. So like,
what's that, like a 3.5 or something like that?
3.15.
A 3.15.
Yeah, but the BMW transmission's like there's no overdrive. It's like 1-to-1 in 5th gear instead of 4th.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I was entering. Like Julian and Jason were entering in 5th with a 4.6.
That's nutty, eh?
Yeah.
It's like a small gear in a Z32 gearbox as well. Like, it's amazing it just didn't explode.
Yeah.
Were they on per gears?
No, Jason was running. Yeah, we're not really like doing much with Volino anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what they were on. We kind of just do what we can. Oh yeah, like I can't remember. I think Jason was on Kendas. I was on
okay.
Kendas. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just buy them from the internet,
Yeah.
We're working on some stuff.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see what happens.
Nice. Tie sponsor would be good, eh?
Yeah, not with Kenda, but hey, fucking Kenda, if you want to like
Yeah. Hook everyone up, Kinder, please. Please do.
send some to New Zealand for my
Yeah,
boys, let's
yeah,
go.
hell yeah. We'll take a container. That's all good.
Yeah, I've already like hyped them up. Why the fuck would they give me free tires at this point?
Yeah, we're not very good at this like sponsorship
Nah,
proposal thing, eh?
be like, it starts with a K and it ends with a 20A.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
Yeah, man. I don't know. What do you think? I think it's been a while. Should we
It's
should we
been,
call it?
yeah, I should probably go home. And it must be pretty late for you, eh?
Yeah. I mean, you want to like shout out your grandparents or anything, or like,
Yeah, hey, dead grandparents.
Mine are too. It's okay.
They're all dead.
I literally said that to Aaron on the last one, and he said the same thing. I need to stop saying that.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good to catch up.
Yeah, we gotta get you guys out here.
We need to figure something out, man. Once COVID's all sorted out, we'll chat and try and do something. It'd be so
cool
cool
if you guys came to Jackson County, but it would be like there'd be a lot less people that would come to watch from there because it's like kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like Grange is just outside of LA, so you'd probably get like a lot more.
Yeah.
People to come.
Grange looks fun. Like I'd be super keen to try driving there.
Yeah,
Just try. I probably wouldn't be able to do it, but I'll give it a go.
You could do it if you could drive Hampton Downs Club Circuit. You could drive Grange.
I don't know.
Because
I haven't had a left-hand drive car in a long time.
Yeah.
We don't really get them here, so.
I mean, Julian's got a bunch of right-hand drive stuff, so.
Well, we better get something sorted then, eh?
Yeah.
Just build it.
Yeah.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah. He's we're, we got some stuff cooking,
Cool. Yeah, that would be super sick to be able to come out, eh?
Yeah. We got to return the favor. I don't think that we could possibly like put you guys up as well as you did with us. Like I don't have like a cool like truck you could drive on a beach or anything.
Oh, come on. Why not? That was funny, eh? That was Joel getting stuck over the hill there. That was good.
Francesca. That was Francesca.
Oh, was it?
I don't think she's gonna listen to this. So
I got to the top of that hill and I was like, nope. I'm just back down.
I'm gonna tell this story. I'm gonna air out. Okay.
Yeah.
I was in the car, man. So Francesca had a couple of drinks, and when Francesca has a couple of drinks, she's real. I don't know how to say it. She'll check you. She'll test your manhood real quick. So of course, she's over here talking a bunch of shit about how, if her Suburban was here, she could make it up that hill and blah, blah, blah. So we're like, all right, whatever. And so like, I'm in the truck with Joel and we like try it once, I think. And we like almost made it. So we like air down a bit, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, we were at the beach grilling, hanging out. B Strong was like riding Adam's cool motorcycle that I was way too scared to touch. And there was like a big sand hill that like people were trying to make it up to the top because everybody had like 4-wheel drives because you had to have a 4-wheel drive to get to the beach because it's like super soft sand. Joel from C's Garage has a diesel like Ford Ranger, which is fucking sick, and I got to drive it around a bunch, like even in town. And I want one. And so he goes to do it, and we didn't make it to the top. And then we make it to the top, and Francesca's like, "Oh well, everyone went that way," which was like literally like a 90-degree like invert, like it was it was vertical. It was like a vertical drop down like I don't know, like 40 to like 60 feet. And he's like, "All right." So we go down it, and I'm like shitting my pants because I have a 4Runner, but I like drive over like rocks and stuff, like small ones, not big ones. So I'm like, dude, I've never done anything in sand before. I'm having a panic attack in the passenger seat. And Francesca's like, "Oh, well, I think they went that way." Dude, it was like dirt bike marks. It wasn't like a truck or anything. So we were back there. We got stuck in like this like bowl, and it was like all fenced off. We got stuck back there for like 45 minutes.
We're all running where you guys were. Like,
and like Joel had to like get this like crazy running start with like all of us out of the truck. And we were like, literally, there was like a big sand bowl. It was literally like, I want to say like 200 feet in diameter and probably like 60 feet deep.
Yeah.
And we were trying to jump through the sand bowl up to the other side to get out because everything else was closed off. And so we all got out of the truck, and Joel literally like guns it from like as far back as he possibly can, and like does this like crazy, drives up on the side of this like sand dune, and like he doesn't like almost fall in, but like it was gnarly. We aired down like literally to like 10 psi or something, and all the tires, and like he just barely made it over, and like Francesca and I are like trying to like climb up this dune just to get into the truck to go back, and I'm like I get in the truck, and Joel's like, stick to drifting, eh? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. I literally, when I got my truck up to the top of that hill,
yeah,
I literally looked over my bonnet, and I couldn't see anything but sky. But then I looked out my like side window, and all I could see was you guys like down the bottom of the sand bowl. And I was like, how? I was just like reverse.
We saw you come up, and we're like, in my head, I was like, please don't come down here. I almost wanted to be like, nah.
I would never have gotten out of there because like Joel's car is like all like it's tires and stuff, and like mine was like at that time it had like stock wheels and stuff on it. Like I just went up to the top of the hill to prove a point that my truck could get up there. Like because Adam said it couldn't, and it did first time. Unlike Joel's, straight up to the top. But like it was like there's no way my truck would have got out of there at all. Like it was so gnarly down there, but yeah, it was a good time, eh?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll have to come to the States and get stuck in some sand dunes there. We got sand dunes where you are? Not really, eh?
No, I mean not in North.
It's more of a like a LA
They haven't been Pismo. Like Pismo's like famous for having like big sand dunes and like driving on the beach, and they have like big like dune jumping contests and all that stuff. Yeah. We've definitely seen like a lot of videos of actually Jeff Wolfson. You know, Jeff Wolfson did FD for a bit. He had like a GT8 or FT86, GT86. What's it called? I don't know. Whatever. It's the new Hachi. An FRS. Okay, let's be real. He had like a third gen Forerunner that he took to Pismo, and there's like a video. Jeff's kind of crazy. There's a video of him jumping it, and like literally just like the front end like hits so hard, and like, dude, they call him Wildman Wolfson for a reason. Like that dude has zero chill. Like he is like full throttle at everything. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sand stuff over there looks sick. We're not, because like where we were, that's classed as a road. So there's like,
there's laws.
There's laws. Like we can't go, like we're not really supposed to like do like big jumps and shit on those sand dunes. But like you've got all those big deserts and stuff, and like like ATVs with like those paddle tires, and like it just looks so friggin' sick, and like your
pre-run like the Can-Ams and stuff.
It's so cool, man. I'm really into that.
I wouldn't mind. I want to drive one of those Can-Ams so bad.
They look fun, eh? Yeah.
Like those like crazy side-by-side things.
Yeah,
Wilson has one of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably roll that over.
Yeah.
100%.
For sure. I'd roll it. But it's got a roll cage, so
yeah.
You probably got like some goggles on, you'll be all right.
Yeah. So your snowboarding goggles, eh? That's it.
Have you seen like Danny Ricciardo has one of those, and you like see videos of him like driving through the woods, like.
Oh really? No, I haven't seen that. That's cool.
Yeah,
that guy's cool. I like that guy.
That made me want one.
Yeah. Cool, man.
All right.
I better go.
Yep.
And I better let you get to bed. Have a good snooze.
Yeah, I will. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, bro. See you, man. Bye.